It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey yo, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, all that good stuff. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including excuse me. Um I can say, yeah, what are we talking about? We got a lot of tea. Okay, so we gotta talk about a scary movie, which now has moved its date. I'm gonna let you know what big movie it's going up against. Word on the curb is James Gunn might be leaving DC Studios. We'll get into that because the David Ellison's taking over Warner Brothers. We'll get into that story. We have a reality show based on Squid Game coming out, and I'll let you know which D-list celebrities is going to be a part of the cast. So we'll get into that. Plus, Janice Dickinson is throwing shade at Tyra Banks. There's another documentary that's coming out, I believe, next week, which is diving behind what went on with America's Next Top Model, and that's the one that Janice is on, and said basically that Tyra was going harder on the black girls than any other demographic on the show. So then we also got to talk about that Demi Lovato interview with Keke Palmer. So she opened up about um how it was crazy growing up alongside Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez, and also talked about being a teenager in a relationship with a 30-year-old. So she finally spilling tea about her relationship with Wilder Valderrama. I couldn't even say the man's name, Wilmer Valderrama. So we'll get into that. Plus, I have this clip of Beyonce father Matthew basically throwing shade at Tina, saying, "What does she do to contribute to Destiny's Child?" So we'll get into that story. Plus, Shia LaBeouf is being warned that he may no longer be in the union if he don't stop drinking. Andy Cohen basically is trying to meddle allegedly in Tim Gunn's business, wants to get him back in the dating game because I told y'all that Tim Gunn said that he been celibate for over 40 years. So we'll get into that. Plus, Kathy Griffin is revealing where she stands with Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen. And we also have news on Pink that she may be taking over the Kelly Clarkson show and the big payday she wants if she's going to take it over. Tyler Perry is finally addressing these assault allegations, saying it's a shakedown. What else is he going to say? He always says that shit whenever somebody accuses him, and it ain't the first or the last man that's going to do it. There's rumors swirling that Will Smith and Chris Rock are planning an ABC News sit down over the slap that happened a couple of years ago. Jodie Sweetin, I tell you, there's a lot of shade going on in this episode today. Jodie Sweetin throwing shade at Candace Cameron Bure. She did an interview with Bob the Drag Queen, so we're gonna get into that. And there's also, of course, because of Scary Movie, of course, people are out here getting all up in arms over the jokes. And of course, it has to be the damn Levitical community. And this is why people be looking at us with a side eye, because here y'all go with the bullshit. Talking about, now I'm making fun of they, them pronouns, but I'm going to defend the situation when we get up to it. So we got that. And plus, last but certainly not least, Rosalia is basically saying her type of man is a homosexual man. Well, that explains her engagement to Raul Alejandro. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have membership, so if you want to become a member, you can definitely do so. It's all in the situation over on the YouTube channel. But in the meantime, hit that like, subscribe, notification, all that good stuff definitely helps with the algorithm. And excuse me, gets more eyes on this show. All right, so let me hit my banner. Let's see what people are in the comments. We hit that. Hello. Hello. Everybody loves Pink, and you know what? She's a mixture of Kelly and Ellen. Yeah, she is pretty good over there. But we'll get to that when we get to the topic, my overall thoughts. I love talking about Pink because I was just listening to her best song before becoming live. Just like a pill, you in your hand. Get the party started. What song was it? Elena. Oh, should have thought about who knew. Michael Karpinski said the album is coming because he said if you loan Madonna, you know she launches it in a big unofficial way. The fashion show performance shows she's ready. The album is coming. And yeah, the word on the street is Madonna is currently in the UK shooting the music video for the first single and got like 200 extras. in the video, and there's a lot of Cirque du Soleil type stuff. And okay, so you said who knew? Mama's ready. It's now spring, and well, didn't we have this conversation that basically Madonna was going to be coming out with um the album once it gets warm? It's a little cold out, so who's going to put out a dance album when it's cold? I mean, I know some people like Harry Styles because it's coming out this week. But Harry Styles coming out with his new album, a lot of from what I've been hearing about the reviews is that it's not a dance record per se, in the sense of like, listening to a Madonna, like Confessions on a Dance Floor. It's not like that. It's more in the vein of like post-punk LCD sound system, a little multi-layered. So it's got all these different sounds and stuff in it. Well, I'll listen to the album this week and I'll come to a determination on, what's the tea. But in the meantime, I am looking forward to seeing when we're going to get this single, which will probably be at the end of the month because it only takes like 2 days to shoot a video. It don't take long to put the like to edit it. So I'm thinking we might get the first single. What's today? The 4th, March 4th. So we'll get the single possibly by the end of the month. That's what I'm guessing. If not early April, but I'm hoping late March. So another time for a single to marinate. But anyway, speaking of marination, let's talk about Scary Movie. So yesterday, in passing, I mentioned Scary Movie because we were talking about Scream 6. So in talking about that, I was giving my overall thoughts in regards of, Scary Movie and the trailer. I thought it was pretty funny. We'll get to the rest of my thoughts about it later on. We get to the other story regarding Scary Movie and the they them pronoun controversy from some people out here who are bitching and moaning about it. But in the meantime, um, Scary Movie has, they announced it, I believe, yesterday. Marlon Wayans announced it that they actually are bumping up the date, so it's going to be coming out a little early. Only problem is, it's now going to be going up against Masters of the Universe and trying to see who's going to be the titan of the box office around when it comes out. So, um, Paramount Pictures recently debuted the first trailer for Scary Movie. The 6 has evidently been dropped because I guess they're going more the Scream route, like with Scream 5, or as I like to call it sometimes, 5 Cream. Um, they just decided to go back to the original name, where I would have just been like, why don't y'all make the 6 a scary, like the A and scary? Y'all could have made that a 6. But anyway, that's just me thinking marketing. Okay, so they said that the 6 has been dropped, which was originally set to hit theaters on June 12th. Now Marlon Wayans, who returns as writer, producer, and star, has announced that the horror parody Rebootquel is coming a little earlier. Now, Scary Movie is now set to arrive on June 5th, where it will go head-to-head with Masters of the Universe, saying we are currently in the edit for for Scary Movie. Wayne said in an Instagram post. The bad news is we're no longer going to be releasing on June 12th. The good news is, due to the overwhelming response and the worldwide excitement, we're releasing it a week earlier. That's right, June 5th is now the new date for Scary Movie. We're starting off the summer with a bang and a laugh fest, so I'm really excited about coming early. Now, most of the Scary Movies performed very well at the box office, taking in north of 896 million worldwide through 5 installments. So they're up there, could be the first horror comedy that could be like $1 billion grossing film, should they play their cards right and the movie make a crap ton of money. Now, the 2000 original was one of the biggest R-rated horror movies of all time back in the day, so Masters of the Universe could be in trouble despite the built-in nostalgia factor and positive word of mouth from some recent test screenings. Well, here's the thing. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Masters of the Universe because, like I said, I grew up on Masters of the Universe. I'm a big fan of that franchise. I'm a fan of the action figures and stuff because as a kid, I played with He-Man, and I had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain and all the action figures and all other stuff. So I'm actually, because of nostalgia factor and because I grew up in that era of like the 80s and 90s, or I'm a child in the 90s really, but I was a kid in the 80s. Um, I'm actually looking forward to seeing this film. However, I do think that that first trailer, kind of a mixed bag. There were certain things in there I like. There were certain things I'm like, oh, the tone is a little off. So I don't know. And you only have one chance to make a first impression. And I don't know. Hopefully they can come with a second trailer that really fleshes out the thing and gets people on board of wanting to see it. But honestly, I think outside of the nostalgia fandom and people who grew up on Master of the Universe and He-Man or whatever, I can't see them hitting a larger audience. Now, Scary Movie also has the nostalgia factor going for it, but um I also think that because Scary Movie is like it's on the streaming services, so people who've never seen it can actually catch up on it. I can't remember what streaming service it might be on Paramount Plus, but yeah, you can catch up on Scary Movie for the nostalgia factor and catch up on all the old ones before you see the new one. So that's been helping it. Master of the Universe, I can't think of one. Oh wait, it might be on. I think Master of the Universe is actually playing on Prime Video right now, so you can probably go over there and watch that and catch up. But that movie was beyond cheesy. Even though it was like I liked it for the time and when it came out because it was what it was. But but yeah, I could possibly see that this is gonna be in trouble. Now the question remains, who moves? Does this mean that one of y'all is gonna move? Because I don't see Scary Movie moving. I actually think Scary Movie and Masters of the Universe are going for two different demographics. Scary Movie is gonna, of course, lean R-rated. So with with the unfiltered comedy and all the stuff we saw in that trailer, so we already know they're gonna go nuts with the stuff that's in there. But Master of the Universe is more it's PG-13, so you can get more butts in theaters because of that. So I'm hoping that both movies will do well in its own right, but I don't know. No shade, I'm kind of leaning more towards Scary Movie doing better at the box office. Because I think a lot of people, I mean, yeah, some of the jokes didn't land in the trailer, but overall, I did laugh out loud quite a few times when I was in the theater waiting for Scream 7 to come on. Now, during a recent interview with EW, Wayne said that his new movie aim is to cancel the cancel culture, saying this movie is multi generational. It's a conversation comedically that is needed, that needs to be had from our generation down to Gen, what is it? Gen Alpha, and it's all inclusive. He said, "What we're trying to do is bring back laughter. This is about bringing back comedy the way it used to be. And I think the only way to do it is you have to cancel the cancel culture." Well, it'll be interesting to see if y'all can accomplish that because I know people saying like comedy is back or whatever the case is. I don't think comedy is back. I think too many people are scared to do comedy. And if I think if there's anybody out there that could really push the envelope and really maybe shift things into people not being so scared of doing comedy, I think it would be the Wayans brothers because to me, or not the Wayans, but the Wayans family, because it's not only Marlon. Keenan wrote some of the script. We got Kim is in the movie. I think Sean Wayans also helped write the script. So the Wayans family has always been like pioneers in the regards of pushing the boundaries of comedy. And I really think that they could be up to the task because now I know some people could say, oh, they're a little too long in the tooth, they're a little older. So they've kind of lost that edge or that spark. That is to be determined when we see the movie. Because at one point, y'all thought Naked Gun with Liam Neeson was going to be the kickoff for comedy, and that movie was not very funny. It wasn't that good either. But hopefully they'll be able to do it with Scary Movie. I don't know why I keep calling up. I guess because it's a parody version of Scream, even though Scream 7, Quiet as It's Kept, was a parody of itself after watching that damn movie. But so I'm really rooting for this movie to do well. I'm rooting also for Masters of the Universe to do well. But unfortunately, it's going to be a bloodbath at the box office. And yeah, on the side of horror, I'm sure there'll be a lot of bloodbath up in there along with the comedy. But Master of the Universe, even though that's a more PG-13 leaning, bloodless action film, y'all might be in danger. So I don't know. If they don't move, then the movie might suffer at the box office. But I actually hope the movie is good. Well, actually, I hope both of the movies is good. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? What do you think about Scary Movie going head to head with Master in the Universe? Are you looking forward to Scary Movie even more, especially seeing the first trailer? And are you a fan of both films and you're and I actually check out both films because I know that I'll definitely be checking out both movies in the theater. I mean, both films in the theater. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I feel like this will be a hit. Yeah. It's a well, scary movie. Exactly. Melissa Barrera fans are dissing the joke of what's a Scream movie without Nev Campbell. The answer was Scream 6. My understanding is Paramount wants the film to be dismissed. Hint the shading. No. you can't erase canon on something that happened already. So Paramount could do whatever, can feel how they want to feel, but they said of Scream. So they can feel how they want to feel, but the movie's made. It's canon, and fans think David will hire Melissa back. I'm like, you really think Melissa isn't on that list of actors? And David's a Zionist. They're not hiding him. They're not hiring her back. The fact of the matter is, y'all sitting up here with this performative free Palestine shit, and y'all really don't be understanding the politics of a lot of these people that are buying up all of our media. I think it is no shade. I think it's going to flop too. I don't want it to, but I definitely feel like it is because, to be honest, I mean, we should have gotten a Master of the Universe movie years ago. Y'all bringing it back in 2026. I'm like, while I'm here for it because I grew up on it. Who is this movie for? So, um, Nicholas Galazine, I don't know. That this might not be a good move for you to catapult your career in action. Noah Centineo dodged the bullet because he was originally supposed to be He-Man, and that movie fell apart. So now he's out there playing John Rambo in a prequel, currently filming in Thailand. Like you said, Hollywood is going to learn you can't do lots of blockbusters back to back. One of them has to be delayed. Has Amazon MGM either not yet? Um, what did they come out with? Wasn't Amazon MGM? Didn't they produce? Oh my God, what's the name of that damn movie? The one with Glenn Powell that flopped. The Running Man. I think they were behind that. They were behind the movie with Mercy, which flopped because it's Chris Pratt and that crazy Jesus shit that he be up there promoting with Gwen Stefani, loony up and tokus looking ass, and them other idiots that be up in there. What is that called? Halo? How come they y'all Halo? Because well, it's called Hollow, but and they about as hollow as that damn app. So perfect name for the damn thing. So that flopped. The Melania documentary flopped. Then there was another movie that came out also that Amazon was behind recently that flopped. So they haven't had a hit yet. Well, yeah. Well, well, it'll be interesting to see how they pull that off because I think they use motion capture or something with him. They you said right, no shade, but Melissa is gone unless they bring her back as a killer. I don't want well, the word on the street was they was planning on making her the killer in Scream 7. That they were gonna be like, well, the dark passenger. That's what I'm calling it, because that's the same damn thing Dexter had. The dark passenger was gonna take over and she was literally gonna become like her father. But I do feel like we're gonna get Scream 8. I I think Sydney Prescott's story, and I'm calling her that because she ain't no damn Evans. Y'all try to kill Sydney Prescott off and make her Sydney Evans. Sydney Prescott's story is done. I don't think y'all have any more left to give her character. Y'all had every opportunity to come up with an interesting thing with her, especially with her as a mother and all this, her past coming back to haunt her. Like, really getting into that story, that would have been interesting. But y'all didn't do that. Y'all came with this convoluted mess. Did you hear about Madonna shooting a music video in the UK today according to yeah, I did. We talked about it. I mentioned it earlier in the show, but yeah, there's a rumor going around that Madonna is shooting her music video in the UK right now. So that's when we were talking about like the whole what is this? Album number 15, M15 era is upon us. She's ready. The record's about to drop soon. Hopefully the new single will be out by the end of the month, if not in the beginning of April. Lord, I knew somebody was gonna ask me. um I'm actually happy for James Talarico's win. I already saw people online moving the goalposts talking about this is misogynoir and all this other mess regarding Jasmine Crockett. And trust and believe, there are some strong things that Jasmine Crockett is good at. I did not think that she was the right person to be getting this gig. Well, well, no worries. I'm not. I hope that my tone wasn't. I'm snapping at you because I wasn't. But a lot of people that coming in and out. So I'm like, look, if y'all bring up something, I have no problem repeating myself. I like talking clearly. So there's back to this. if there's anything about Jasmine Crockett, yeah, she's good at doing this other stuff. The one thing that she has basically cucked herself to is being a pit bull for the Democrats. And if people find that offensive, oh fucking well. But if you run around here with all your little sound bites and your reads and your roasts and your gags, you're literally a pit bull for the Democratic Party. And my thing is this: if you was really all about like really being a progressive, which to me, James Talarico in so many ways has been progressive on a lot of things, denouncing a lot of the hypocritical religious bullshit that the right has been pushing on and basically making money and grifting off of. He is somebody who I believe is a downtrodden, right down to, in a real Christian in his beliefs. Now, I'm not religious, but at least he's been calling out the hypocrisy of religion, which has always been my bag on doing, especially growing up Roman Catholic. On top of that, he's been standing on being progressive in a lot of his ideologies and a lot of his stuff. Jasmine, for me, has been irritating me because she's been flip flopping back and forth on a lot of stuff. And sometimes she definitely votes centrist on a lot of things because when Congress votes in lockstep about stuff, she goes along with it instead of going against it. So I think that also hurt her. So, and then on top of that, don't even get me started on Kamala Harris coming out trying to endorse her. I'm like, now you really trying to fuck her up. And of course, now she lost. Now I think now Kamala trying to sabotage James Talarico because now I'm hearing the word on the street is she now trying to endorse Talarico. Ma'am, don't do it. Don't come over here because we know politically where you lean. That whole thing of Democrats pushing towards the center and being in the middle, that doesn't work anymore. People want someone who is far left, very progressive, and especially in a way when you look at someone like Zoran Mamdani, whose likability factor has skyrocketed since he's become mayor. The polls and everything and all of that is out there. So if y'all thinking I'm out here bullshitting, you can look it up. Google Schmoogle. When I tell y'all I bring stuff, I talk facts. I don't just start spewing stuff out of my mouth because I just like blowing hot air. I'm just letting you know. The fact of the matter is people want more of a Zoran Mamdani type. And if you've been paying attention to a lot of these races, people are voting for more progressive politicians. And I think because Zoran won New York City, I said, I don't mind being the guinea pig. If we got to be the guinea pig for y'all to realize that there is hope to vote for somebody a little more progressive and someone who's a democratic socialist and wants things for people, because that's what I do. Even if I don't agree with your politics or whatever, I want you to have health care. I want you to be able to feed your family. I want you to be like, what pleasure do I get out of you as a person suffering? That's not something that's in my wheelhouse. That's what this party is all about. So, um, she lost. Oh well, maybe she could run for something else. And you said, "Thank you, Chris. Tell the truth about on Miss Crockett. This is why." Hmm. That's why I said, like, I've been paying attention. She got caught being APAC and refused. Well, she did say that I've never taken APAC money because I remember that Joy Reid did asked her that question and she got snappy with it. I'm like, well, damn, she just asked you a question. And it's like, yeah, and you want to keep answering the questions many times as they ask it because that's what people are out there saying. And the Democrats' problem is y'all expect people to just do research and know everything about what's going on. Like, well, the proof speaks for well, people ain't got time to Google schmoogle. Not no politics. Politics is fucking boring. Now it's not that boring anymore because our media and this regime that we're in has figured out how to turn politics into a WWE. It basically turned it into Monday Night Raw. That's literally what our politics has become right now. So they found a way to market it and make it more entertaining for people to watch. But I don't think it's entertaining to be playing with Russian roulette with people's lives. They said, I feel like James can run for president. We'll see. I don't want Gavin Newsom to be president, but if that ever comes to the point of if he wants to run for president and he says all the things, then um I just have to see what his policies are going to be. Well, he's in Texas, so that's his focus. So the people of Texas has to deal with whatever the outcome is that he's going to be running over there politically. If he decides to go broader down the road and is like, you know what, I'm interested in running for president, and if his policies align with mine, I might vote for him. Now she needs to shut up. And yeah, now she told me she want to run again. I'm like, ma'am, I was like, who going to tell her that we don't want you? And I'm not trying to say that we don't want a black president. Well, we had Barack Obama, but do we want a black woman president? I don't mind a black woman president, but you can't be out like gone are the days where we, like I said, where people are going trying to meet in the middle, going to the center. No, that doesn't work anymore. People are waking up and realizing what this world really is because y'all had us in the dark for so damn long. Like just now, we're repeating. It's like this current regime is reheating the nachos of the Bush administration, and I'm talking about Bush with when they went and invaded Iraq when it was Saudi Arabia who attacked us. Now y'all doing the same shit with Iran. I can't stand him. John Fetterman, lurched, slow, retarded looking ass. I can't stand his ass. First of all, he a dino. He's a turncoat. Dino meaning Democrat in name only. Can't stand him. He needs to go. Pennsylvania, I need to vote his ass out. I don't care how many damn sweat shorts he likes to wear and them funky ass Jordans. You need to vote his ass out because he's not helping y'all. You said, yeah, they definitely need to primary him. Look, y'all already know whenever it comes to politics, I will go on a tangent. But no need to apologize. Now that we got that out the way, we can get back into the show. Maybe I need to clip that whole segment and put it up online. And you said it's going to be embarrassing for Kamala to run a second time and lose again. What? Well, it'll be interesting to see who's actually going to be the candidates when 2028 comes around. He said that I was right. Israel was doing a war. I'm like, deep dive. I know you're 62, but you were brainwashed to believe it. Well, look, you have to realize also, provide if you have the information, provide it. Start cause. I mean, I won't say cause a debate or a conversation. If it's going to get to a point where you're going to end up like, because I don't know if y'all heard that story. That girl that was mad at her father for voting for Trump and they were having he I think it was a heat argument. He killed her. So if it gets you in that situation where a family member going to end your life over your political beliefs, don't have that conversation. Just unplug yourself in the matrix. Provide yourself with enough information where you're understanding what this country is because and stop and don't watch MSNBC. I ain't calling that MS Now shit. Don't watch CNN. Don't watch local news because I posted a clip earlier of these reporters asking, what do they call them, the president or the prime minister of Iran? Oh, are you gonna create nukes and have him blow up the United States? And they've been saying we haven't created a nuke. They've said it 8 million times. And then, well, why are you blowing up U.S. Why are you blowing up areas of where the U.S. is migrating in your place? Because y'all attack us. And it's like the fact of the matter that you're asking this question on full on well that y'all just coming over across as mindless drones. You're doing whatever these people at the top are telling y'all these corporations and all this other stuff, what they're telling you to say. And it's like, you're just literally bullshitting this audience and fooling them and lying to them when you could literally sit up there and tell them the truth, which is the fact that Netanyahu showed his funky ass up in the White House. I don't know why this motherfucker is not in jail. He should not be allowed in the United States. He went to the White House, had a conversation with Trump, and then all of a sudden now we bombing Iran when every other president prior he's been trying to get to do it and they said no. But because this president is compromised now, and because he got dirt on him, probably some of the stuff that's in the Epstein files, and he's been and he's been compromised by not only him, uh, Putin got him. I've heard a couple of politicians in this country pretty much are blackmailing him, and then you see like, and probably is so stressed out from all the blackmail that he's enduring. He got all kinds of herpetic rashes showing up on his neck and his hand is like literally rotting in real time. Like he's literally like that dude in X-Men 2. Remember the politician that literally turned to water? That's literally what it's like it's becoming. Or he's like literally rotting in real time. That's what it looks like. So it's probably all that damn stress because now you having to pay all these, you're being blackmailed. This is literally the Manchurian candidate. Literally, it's like we're living in the Manchurian candidate. That's what it feels like. Well, thank you. Love you too. He said my mom was making Kelly and Candace. You say your mother like believes in stuff like what they say. I'm like they're anti-Israel as racist. The left is only going against the government and their military. Huge difference. Is the left really going against the government? I do feel like a lot of them are fascist collaborators. I do feel like a lot of these politicians, the ones that's been quiet, especially like APAC Shakur, who we like to call Hakeem Jeffries, and Humpback Schumer, and the rest of them, they're they're fascist collaborators. I don't feel like they're going against the government and the military. I think they're low key agreeing with all this because a lot of them have been bought and paid for. We even heard a story. I even heard a story today that our that there are people who are gambling on this whole war that's happening in Iran. Made over $2 million from it. Somebody said that's a low number. I'm like, I mean, yeah, now it might be, but $2 million to me seems like a lot of money. I ain't what I got in my account, so that sounds like a lot. Maybe not to them because it's a low number, but the fact that people out here gambling is just sick to me. Yeah, they do. But the fact of the matter is, what will happen is that um you're gonna get people like the status quo Democrats, like the Hakeems and the Schumers and people of that ilk that will try to find ways to sabotage them, like they tried to do with Zoran Mamdani and couldn't because New Yorkers, we don't play that bullshit. And funny enough, Schumer and Hakeem was from New York, and Zoran won his district. Hakeem's from Brooklyn, and he likes to talk about Brownsville and all this other shit. I'm like, I said, nigga, you ain't been to Brownsville in the month of Sunday, so you don't get to, you don't get to claim us anymore. Your district got won over by the man you refuse to endorse. And um, damn, I forgot my train of thought because I mentioned APAC Shakur and I get all, But yeah, as far as like the strategy or whatever, oh yeah, they try to do that to Zoran. They've been doing it to Rokana. They've been doing it to like a whole bunch of people. So anytime somebody comes out and pushes for change or whatever the case is, the status quo, the established Democrats want to come in and do their little dance and sabotage. And low key, they put on the political theater, but deep down they are in alignment with everything that this current president is doing, which is why y'all want to talk about primaries. We need a primary Hakeem, and we damn sure need a hot primary Schumer and get them two out because they're a detriment to the Democrats. They just need to go. So I saw a video of an 80-year-old woman, said, I'm gonna do what my donors I'm not here for the people. They didn't buy my spot. Okay. I'm sitting there thinking, is that because there was somebody that said, damn, who was it there's somebody that's running. I mentioned this the other day. There's a politician that's running, and Schumer's behind some woman that I think you might be talking about the same person. Some 80-year-old who they're trying to run. I said, we doing this again? Because remember when AOC was trying to run and they were trying, and then they went and decided to endorse some 70-something-year-old man that was dying of cancer, and he ended up dead. And then, of course, that seat was gone, and now they moved the Republican in. I'm like, only because they want to continue to keep the thing going. But anyway, that's the end of my political rant. Let's get into some more. Well, I guess this is kind of political, what we're about to get into, because it has to do with the movies and politics. Let's talk about James Gunn. So, word on the street is, I mean, even though this is not confirmed, this is basically a lot of people running with this story because apparently John Campea over at the John Campea show did a story on the Warner Brothers Discovery Paramount deal, which is what a lot of us movie pundits, I've covered everything. We cover movies, we cover music, we cover gossip, we cover everything on here. We are and politics, we are a well-rounded show. So, but John Campion, who is like one of the popular YouTubers that covers movie news and TV and all that other stuff, he basically was talking about the Paramount Warner Brothers deal, and his belief is that because David Ellison is coming in being the inexperienced nepo baby who is basically trying to do Trump's bidding, and that's for the political side of owning CNN, which CNN, you can pretty much do whatever the fuck. Look, if y'all want to turn CNN into CBS and ruin that and everything, by all means, because a lot of the propaganda that's been coming out from CNN lately, that network is cooked any damn way. So have at it. Destroy it, ruin it. I don't get my news from cable anyway. Cable is the dinosaur. I get all my information, and it's sad to say this, but I get all my information, like real progressive political speak, on YouTube. When I'm watching Savvy Sabs, when I'm watching The Vanguard, when I'm watching um the I've Had It ladies, when I'm watching Kyle Kalinske, when I'm listening to these people, they're the ones that's really going in and doing the deep dives and giving you, and why I hate politics. I like him too. So when they're going in and showing clips and things of the buffoons over there at CNN, like Scott Jennings, smug ass, making excuses for this current war in Iran that we're in, and people up in here spewing propaganda, it's like, it's sad that we have to go to YouTube of all places to get real information, because people who are hired to give the news don't want to do their job because they're cut to these corporations in the 1%. So they're there to just collect their check while they lie to y'all in real time. But nevertheless, so if y'all want to go ahead and ruin CNN, by all means do it, because I don't get my news from them any damn way. I just feel bad for the people that actually watch that shit and believe the crap that's coming out of them idiots' mouth. But basically, with whatever it is that they spewing over there on um from the teleprompter. So we already know, like, James Gunn is not fond of this current regime that we're in. And when you saw Superman, there was clearly, they try to say it wasn't, but I'm side and I'm calling bullshit on this. The made up nation that they were talking about invading. Come on now, we all saw that was Israel in Gaza. But he goes, "Nah, that wasn't what it was." I was like, "Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining." And that's one thing James Gunn likes doing, is talking around stuff and not really being upfront and honest about a lot of the stuff. When there is speculation about certain things, he'll try to make it seem like, "Oh no, you are a fool for thinking that." And I'm like, "Okay, sir, I'm a lot more intelligent. You trying to play me?" But so with everything that's going on with DC and everything, a lot of people are wondering, so what is going to happen with DC? Is he going to stick around or not? And according to John Campia, here was what he had to say on, this whole situation. So he said, "I'm 100% sure that before the end of the year, James Gunn is going to go to David Zaslav and say, 'It's been nice, but there's no way I'm working for these guys. So can you please let me out of my contract?' And I think David Zaslav will let him out of the contract. I think he's going to end up back in Marvel, and he will become Kevin Feige's heir apparent to take over Marvel after Kevin Feige finally goes. And what I think is going to happen, that's the roadmap I see happening here." He said, now, I should say this. Campion said that he has no inside information. But he said this is how he sees things playing out. But I will say this before I finish with the rest of this, what he's saying. You can't go in and say, I'm 100% sure, and it's speculation, unless you know something that's going on and you up in here trying to act like, I have no inside information. I have no dog in this fight. Because he did say that after he said that there were actual reporters that hit him up and was like, "Well, who's your source?" And he was like, "There is no source. It was like I was just speculating," which is what a lot of us do. And I think he even said that in when he was talking, but apparently that must have skipped over a lot of the alleged reporters' heads. I don't know if it was one reporter from one specific place or if a multitude of reporters hit him up. But um he said he has no inside information, but this is just him speculating. And now, let me finish what he had to say, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts. So he said, I just can't imagine a scenario that James Gunn, because we all know how James Gunn feels about Donald Trump, whether you think he's right to feel that way or whether you think he's wrong to feel that way. We all know how James Gunn feels about Donald Trump, and Ellisons are Donald Trump's little fuck toys. So I just don't see any reality in which James Gunn stays. He's gonna quit. And he wasn't the only one that said that. There was another guy from Hollywood After Dark. He's a podcaster by the name of Matt Jarbo, thought the same thing and said the following. Because hold on, because I gotta open up his tweet. I mean his tweet, because it cuts off. So anyway, so he said, I could see James Gunn quitting DC Studios once the merger is guaranteed to happen. It's going to take some time, make no mistake, but I can see him shooting Man of Tomorrow and then calling it a day after that. I mean, for 2027, we've got that and we've got the Batman Part 2, but that might even be pushed back even more to make it look better for Paramount's quarterly earnings because that's a guaranteed money maker. Make more so than Man of Tomorrow. In fact, any Superman is never going to earn as much as a Batman movie. Well, he's right about that because I do believe that, in my opinion, Batman has always been the better superhero than Superman. Superman is always like okay, but I think it's because he's so perfect as a superhero that people have a hard time relating to him in some sort of ways. And I will say this: while I wasn't necessarily a big fan of some of the swings that James Gunn took with his Superman movie, the recent one, um, you get an A for effort. I enjoyed like some of the stuff that was up in there, but like I said, I wasn't really all that excited over it. But Batman, I have to say, like, out of all the Batman movies that we've gotten over the years, and I've encountered a lot of Batman since the Tim Burton days. That's like the beginning of the Batman cinematic situation. My favorite Batman movie, and this might be controversial, but I don't give a good goddamn, is the Matt Reeves one, The Batman, that just came out because I felt like I loved the world that he built, how dark and brooding it was. I loved Robert Pattinson's take on Batman. I love the detective aspect because that has always been the Batman I've wanted to see on the big screen. And don't get me wrong, Christopher Nolan's Batman universe, the only movie out of that whole franchise I like was The Dark Knight. That's the only one. But overall, my all-time favorite Batman that I felt like it's finally giving me everything I wanted in a Batman movie and the potential to be even greater with the next one is the Batman. Just like my favorite Spider-Man, this might be controversial too, is Tom Holland. And I think it's because Tom Holland embodies Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Whereas when I look at Andrew Garfield or oh my God, what's that? Tobey Maguire. I always felt like they were good at one or the other, but they were never good at both. Like I never got that vibe. I just felt like Tom Holland embodies both characters, so that's why I loved his version. Wait, hold on. I just seen something about Steve-O. I'm like, don't tell me he died. um, oh, whatever. He went on Joe Rogan's podcast. Never mind. That's another idiot. So in regards to the situation, do I believe that James Gunn will leave? I mean, it's possible he could walk away tomorrow. I mean, if once this deal goes through, it's like, you know what? It was nice knowing you. I'm not interested in being a part of the whole DC universe and doing this anymore. But I definitely think he would be a much better successor at going at the MCU once Kevin Feige leaves, because Kevin ain't going to stay there forever. But I could definitely see James Gunn working over there because honestly, now that I think about it, I feel like James Gunn, his tone, his vibe, everything that he does fits better at the MCU than the DCU. I just think that DCU is a little edgier and grittier. Like that's the vibe I was kind of thinking when you look at DC versus Marvel. Marvel is more like children of all ages and family entertainment, and they can go a little edgy, but they can't go too over the edge like DC. DC, you could definitely get a little dirt, like grimy and gritty with it. So that's why I like about DC more so than Marvel. And don't get me wrong, I'm entertained by a lot of Marvel stuff, but DC has always kind of been like a lot of my favorite superheroes comes from that world. And look, we got other things coming out. I just saw the what is it? We got Clayface coming out. We got the Batman Part 2, which of course is not necessarily DCU, it's a different thing. We also have Supergirl, which no shade, I think is going to flop. I don't think it's going to do all that well at the box office. The trailer didn't grab me all that much, but I'm hoping it's a good movie. What else do we have on the slate that's coming? Oh, Lanterns. The trailer was supposed to come out tomorrow, and somebody leaked it, so now it's out on the internet today. And when I watched the trailer, I'm like, okay, this looks interesting for a TV show, but where's the special effects? Because isn't that what we're supposed to be getting with Green Lantern? So maybe we'll have to, they want to tease us and make us wait until we watch the show. But it has potential. I'm not all that excited over it, but it was an entertaining trailer. I thought it was all right. So we have a couple of things on the slate. And we're supposed to have Wonder Woman and all this other stuff. We're supposed to get Brave and the Bold. But yeah, but I also think this is what James Gunn should do. If David Ellison wants him to stay on board, and trust to believe, David Ellison needs James Gunn more than James Gunn needs David Ellison. If James Gunn decides to stay on board, He needs to come up with a brand new ironclad contract and be like, if I'm going, I mean, because everybody has their boss, everybody's got somebody to answer to. If I'm gonna be over here and they leaving me alone to my own shit over here on the DCU, if this other regime was leaving me alone, my previous bosses, and you gonna come up in here and tell me that I have to lean more right wing with a lot of the ideologies in here when I'm totally against that. If you're gonna sit up in here and tell me what I can and cannot put in my projects when I already have a 10-year plan on what I want to do with certain superheroes and what we're planning on doing, if I'm not gonna have the creative freedom to do what I want, then I'm walking away. So that's what's going to have to be up in the situation. So they're going to have to figure that out. But at this moment, like I said, this is inconclusive. There's no actual situation of saying like whether or not he's actually going to get up and leave. Pack your bags up and leave. I don't think he's going to do all of that. But like I said, leave James and Peter, because we always forget about Peter Safran. Leave them to their own affairs, how they want to shape the DCU, and then but if not, then I'm gonna walk away. So I'll say all that to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe that it's a possibility that James Gunn is going to walk away once David Ellison, Nepo Baby ass? Did y'all know that David Ellison, because he has two children, remember David's sister, Larry Ellison, I can't remember David's sister's name, but do you know I'm like, damn, can I have a parent like him? He gave his kids $600 million each to do whatever they wanted to do with the money, like start up your own business, whatever the case was. So David Ellison, I forget what his sister wanted to start up, but of course he went and started up Skydance and was producing a lot of movies. So that's the thing I liked about David Ellison, was that he's a fan of movies and he was putting a lot of money behind films like Star Trek and Mission Impossible and things like that. And I liked all the but for the most part, a lot of the Mission Impossible movies. So he's been behind producing a lot of those films. And so that's the part I like. But I definitely feel like David Ellison is in over his head trying to run not only Paramount, which has yet to turn a profit, except for Scream. That's the only movie that's come out of Paramount so far that was a hit. And now you're trying to acquire Warner Brothers, and you don't know what you're doing. You've never run a business. You're not your father. You're not a mogul. You're not somebody that's run a company. You have a production company, but you've never run a studio. You've never been the head of like a studio, which is much bigger, where you're dealing with shareholders, you're dealing with a whole bunch of other stuff. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you think James gonna walk, or do you think he'll stick it out? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure Pete Keg's breath is going to charge him with contempt. Eh, Pete has no power in that damn White House. Everybody knows that they listen to Lord Farquaad, and by Lord Farquaad, I'm talking about Stephen Miller. He's the one that's running everything up in that house. John is anti-Paramount. Basically, most people wanted Paramount because of the movie theaters. Wait, John who? Campbell? Is he anti-Paramount? Because the way he was talking, like he was all for this deal in the beginning, until I was one of the first people coming out here talking about how this is a bad idea, and it's because of what he's over there doing at Paramount. After you got Paramount and what you did to CBS, and now it's like all the tea leaves are basically showing like the way you treated this studio before you acquired that other one. We see what your agenda is. All the evidence is there. So now all of a sudden he's turning a new leaf and trying to be optimistic or whatever the case is. But is he anti-Paramount? I have no idea. You said plus Superman is seen as American propaganda, which hurt the international ticket sales. Yeah, I can definitely see that because of the colors. Sabby Sabs, I'd rather watch Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens than watch her repeat what. Look, Nick. Speaking of Nick Fuentes, who, no shade, I kind of want to angry fuck him. Only because you ever seen like somebody who is like you, they piss you off so much you just want to shove your penis in their ass and just like, this is all for the ancestors. That's what I get when it comes to, and this might be kind of, I don't give a damn, but I say that's how I feel about Nick. But speaking of which, look, Nick Fuentes told y'all to vote Democrat because he said all this other stuff that Trump is doing. He said vote Democrat, so y'all better listen. Here's the funny thing when it comes to Sabby Sabs, I rarely watch her anymore. There were parts in the beginning while I was watching her, but I be feeling like she'd be so late with her tea. And a lot of time when she be talking about certain topics, I'm like, girl, this topic did not need to be 40 minutes. You ever look at my? I know. So look. Sometimes y'all be up in here talking about. Well, not y'all, but there have been comments. I'm going. Well, you don't need to make this story this long, or whatever. But I understand. Like me, I'm trying to be multi-layered and give nuance to the whole situation. So sometimes my topics maybe go over a little longer than need be. But then when I'll be watching, I'm like, girl, you could have cut like this shit a good 10 minutes of this. So, but yeah, I haven't really watched her lately. Because one, she sound like Elmo when she be talking, and number two, um, she be a little long-winded, so I don't get to. I'm like, I need to get to the point. So, or in a lot of situations, so I'll watch, like I said, the I hate politics, which is this black muscle dude that really be up in there going in on a lot of the political stuff. So I like him, and I watch Kyle Kalinske more than anybody because I just love how he's very New York with the way he talks. Every other word's the F word. And it's like he sound like me when he talk. He reminds me of me, the way I be talking. So I think that's why I like him. And I watch his wife sometimes, but I don't like Sagar. So, but I'll sit and tolerate him because I'm watching her. Or who else? Or the or Jennifer and Pumps over there. I've had it. So those are the ones I mainly watch. Yes, for the ancestors. He said she made the topic 40 minutes, so the paycheck can be higher. I said, good to know. Look, somebody tried to clock me when they was like, well, you made this video long so that way you can give it. I said, and did. That's why a lot of us do it. But I don't sit up there just be intentionally just running my mouth. If I have more to add to it, it's whatever it is. But sometimes I just be talking. Sometimes the video come out to be 5 minutes. Sometimes the video be 15 minutes. Yeah, hold on. You said a lot of people hate Kyle because of his dyed blonde hair. Since when did dyeing hair become a bad? If you want to dye his hair, let him dye his hair. It's his hair. The fuck? You got all them steroids up in fucking Joe Rogan, and y'all listen to his brain dead ass. Yeah, same thing over here with me. I can't help but cuss. I try to water down the mouth, but I'm like, no, that's how I talk. This is a guy that I work with. Um, his name is Alan. We call him Reese because that's his last name. White dude, very much hates Trump. All this other, was in the military, all other stuff. Older guy, like probably in his 50s or 60s, but I can't remember. But he's probably like in his 50s. But anyway, so um every other word I had, he cursed too. One time I had to hit him in the arm because he was talking to management. He goes, fucking. I was like, and he's like, oh, sorry. But it's just like, I get it. That's how you talk. And a lot of us in New York, that's how we talk. We use profanity. And my thing is, well, people need to understand because there have been many of polls and statistics and all sorts of stuff done on it that people who use profanity are highly intelligent. So I hate when people think that if you use profanity that then you're just dumb. No, we're highly intelligent people. Just the cursing is just a little extra icing on the cake. All right, y'all. So now let's go from Warner Brothers and Paramount to Netflix because apparently Squid Game is going the reality TV. Well, they had a reality TV show at one point, but they're going the celebrity reality TV route. So, we have a couple of celebrity contestants, D-listers, if you will. And yes, Mel B is a D-lister, and that's no shade. I'm just saying. Um, so yeah, she's about to join Squid Game. It's called the VIP Challenge. So I guess it's gonna be like the challenge, but Squid Game. Maybe it'll be across the net. Maybe they can get Johnny Bananas on there. He could use a check. after all constantly being on the challenge. So on Tuesday, March 3rd, Netflix announces upcoming series Squid Game, the VIP Challenge, which will follow 8 celebrities as they step into the high-stakes game and put their wit, strategy, and skill set to the ultimate test. This is according to the press release. Now, the season is set to feature Dylan Efron, who, is Zac Efron's brother, and he was also on The Traitors. He's done Dancing with the Stars, so he's become like a reality TV titan. I guess that's where the money resides, so he's going to go into that. Hannah Goodwin from The Bachelor, Kim Zolciak, who definitely is somebody who needs a check, for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, content creator Christy Sarah, don't know who that is. I don't know her in the words of Mariah, Spice Girls member Mel B, and Ryan Serhant from, he used to do that reality show with the real estate show from Bravo, but now he's doing a show called Owning Manhattan. And Tristan Thompson, sorry. Don't he got a baby with Khloe Kardashian? So the cast is rounded out by Viper, the fan favorite winner of Squid Game, The Challenge Season 2. So the unscripted game show, which draws inspiration from the original Squid Game drama series, is a near identical replica of the hit show and its lethal games, minus the death and extreme violence for those who lose, as its 456 real contestants face the question, how far will you go? Furthermore, the players' outfits in season 1 and 2 mimic the uniforms the characters wear in the original scripted series, featuring green and white tracksuits with numbers. The guards, who also dressed in the same red suits and black masks from the original drama and don't speak a single word. And look, we even had a point where last season, RuPaul's Drag Race did a little parody of Squid Game when in their season premiere of the 17th season. So Viper, who was identified also as player 152, was given a guaranteed spot in season 3, saying it's been positively overwhelming seeing such an outpouring of support. This is what he told Tudum that's the sound that Netflix makes when you put it on. In November 2025, I think people recognize that I'm genuine and found a way to advocate for my best interest without losing my sense of self. So this sounds pretty interesting. The only problem is, well, Viper is this tall black dude. He looked like a basketball player based on some of the pictures. So I wonder where they shoot this show, because I know the series, the scripted show was set in South Korea. I saw the first season. I didn't watch season 2, probably because and I think that's the problem with Netflix when y'all be dumping everything in one situation, is that it loses its momentum after a while, and I've done moved on. Like, I don't be caring. So I'm thinking that's what probably how I felt about the whole situation. But they said it's the most watched Netflix series of all time, and it drew its final curtain in June 2025 with 6 episodes. So yeah, totally forgot that the whole series dropped. I only saw the first season, didn't particularly care enough to want to subject myself to season 2 and 3. Maybe one of these days I'll get around to it, but it's so much going on. I barely have time to keep up on a lot of shows. Now, regarding this cast, the only people that I would be interested in watching, I might be interested in watching Dylan. I might be interested in watching Kim and seeing what she does, and Mel B. Everybody else I don't care about. I don't care about Ryan from that fucking real estate show that used to come on um Bravo. Now he's doing some show called Owning Manhattan, which I hate that name because a lot of you real estate people act like y'all own fucking Manhattan. So that's probably why I think I got a problem with that title, because a lot of these real estate people and with all the scams and everything that goes on with real estate in New York, and how people are struggling to pay their rent because of how these skyrocketing prices. People like him is a damn problem. But if he's going to take a little smug ass over there on this show, then it'll be interesting. But y'all could have came up with a much better cast of this besides Mel B and Dylan Efron. Hell, what the hell is that doing? So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? We have a new show coming. I was like, I had to turn that. It was starting to get hot up in here. I had to turn that off. The heat. Do y'all give a good goddamn about this show? I mean, I like the idea of Squid Game with reality stars, but y'all could have did better with the choices. So, I was gonna say they might give the Traders a run for its money, but based off of these cast members, y'all Traders might be on the safe side for now. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Quick question: what's the difference between A-lister, celebrity, or someone who's famous, or are they all the same? It's hard to define that right now. I think an A-list celebrity, will be someone like a Viola Davis, a Denzel Washington, um, a Michael B. Jordan, a Timothy Chalamet. Someone who's famous, I look at that as more like these reality stars, like a Kim Kardashian or something like that. Or they seem like they're infamous. I mean, you could also be an A-lister and famous. But who is that now these days? I think that the lines have been kind of blurred in regards to that. But I think if we talk about A-lister, like people that really are on in a part of the elites in the A-list situation, I look at them as like, yeah, I could like a Michael B. Jordan or Viola Davis or Denzel or Timothy, like those who I think are A-listers. And people just famous for no damn reason. Yeah, Kim Kardashian, that whole family, Kylie Jenner. I would think she would be famous versus her significant other being an A-lister. And I guess being in a relationship with him definitely benefits her in a lot of ways. Also, I have to say this since we brought them up, Michael B. Jordan and Timothy Chalamet. I actually think that Michael B. Jordan has a better chance of getting the Oscar for Best Actor. I could definitely see it now. And I think it's because, I mean, I was hoping and praying from the beginning because I love Sinners. I thought him playing two roles of smokestack twins, that he definitely has a better chance of, like, with the multi-layeredness and the nuance of those characters and different things that he had to do. I would have loved to have seen. I felt like he deserved to get that part more. When you look at something like a Marty's, I mean, I like Leonardo DiCaprio, but nobody's really been talking about his role. Like he got the nomination. I kind of feel like it was a vanity nomination, but he's not on the top of everybody's list. And we're like, yeah, we need to give it to him. And don't get me wrong, Leo was good in the movie, one battle after another, but I can't see him like getting it. But it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be between Timothy and MBJ, but I think Bakari is going to take it. And I think it increases chance because of the SAG Awards. I'm not calling it the Actor Awards. That shit is stupid. You already know when I said that yesterday, I'm gonna misgender it. I'm not calling it that new name. I'm gonna dead name it. And call it the original name because Actors Awards sounds so pretentious and stupid. So it's the SAG Awards. But Michael B. Jordan, he's been in the games for a long time. Like he's been acting since he was a kid. I told him I liked him ever since he was on All My Children. Everybody be talking about, the other show, The Wire, because they want to sound all she foo foo with it. But I was like, nah, I remember when he was on All My Children playing Jackson Montgomery's adopted child. So, and Amanda Seyfried was also on around the same time as um Michael B. Jordan. And so I was like, he's been in this game for a long time. Timothy Chalamet, even though, yeah, he's a Nepo baby because he has a lot of connections, he's still relatively new to this business and getting a lot of accolades and respect. I do think the arrogance surrounding how he was promoting Marty Supreme and how he was acting with this whole award season might have turned some people off. So I could definitely see like Michael getting it because it's long overdue. And plus, on top of that, what big opportunity is another black actor going to get in regards of something this juicy of a part? Tiffany's got his whole life ahead of him. He ain't even 30 yet. So I could definitely see Michael taking it. And if he gets upset, try harder, sir. And by try harder, sir, I'm talking about Timothy Chalamet. Um, Cleveland says, Hola, Chris and Company. Yeah, that's his real name in case y'all didn't know. Raphael. All right, y'all. So now, child, let's get into this mess. Let's talk about Janice Dickinson. So apparently, there is another docuseries. I mean, well, it's a series. It is a docuseries, but it's going to be one episode pertaining. Can't talk. I was going to say particularly, but now I decided to switch it pertaining to America's Next Top Model. So they're going to be talking about other things, but America's Next Top Model is one of the subjects and everything of this series. And so Janice Dickinson is out here talking, and just like we knew she would, like clockwork, yeah, not only has her soul been clocked, but she out here trying to clock Tyra and throw shade, which we knew she was going to do. So Janice Dickinson has launched an extraordinary attack on, and this is her words, not mine, bitch Tyra Banks, a decade after working together on America's Next Top Model. The wor- this is what she always says. The world's first supermodel, who's 71, was known for her acid tongue when she served as judge on the show, not holding back when it came to critiquing the model's appearance, personality, and weight. Yet now, Janice has claimed that it was Tyra, who's 52, encouraging her to be cruel, claiming the models were psychologically tortured to feed her ego. She made her claims on E's Dirty Rotten Scandals, a rival documentary to Netflix's Reality Check, which has been criticized for not holding Tyra accountable. In recent years, ANTM has become under fire from Gen Z viewers who have discovered the show, pointing out the fat shaming, racist remarks, and horrific working conditions the models found themselves in. Speaking about her own involvement in the show, Janice said the producers, especially Tyra, were begging me to be harsher and cruel like Simon Cowell was on American Idol. And I did not say that. I told y'all that. I was like, not the part where Tyra was encouraging Janice because I wasn't in the room, so I can't attest to that. What I can attest to was the fact that as someone who was a reality TV junkie back in the day, in the 2000s, and reality TV was a relatively new thing and it was a no man's land, and people were still trying to navigate the waters and figure out how to work this whole reality TV thing out, being the messiest, being the shadiest, whatever you could do to draw those ratings, they told you to do it. And because Simon Cowell pretty much was the godfather of shade, with him being on that panel and reading those singers for points whenever they sounded bad or pitchy or sharp or whatever the case was. Everybody wanted their own version of Simon Cowell. So I could definitely see them trying to make like Tyra wouldn't want to come off as the meek and mild host until the we were rooting for you, we were all rooting for you incident. And have Janice come in and be the Simon Cowell. Everybody wanted their version of Simon Cowell on their show. And you also got to think about the fact that um America's Next Top Model was on a channel called UPN, which I always refer to as the U People's Network. That network was at the bottom of the totem pole. First of all, it was nobody was checking for UPN except if you was watching America's Next Top Model or Moesha. Those are the only reasons why I was watching that channel. But what I was watching, I would put on the WB until it became the CW, and before I will put on some UPN. I did watch Top Model. I didn't. I don't think I watched like all the seasons, but I remember going like jumping in and out of the show whenever there were episodes of the show. So I don't think I've actually seen a full season, but or maybe I have. I can't remember. But I was like, yeah, but it was a lot of cycles. So I've kind of jumped in and out of the show over the years when it was on. She also referenced Tyra's notorious meltdown, speaking of we were rooting for you, when eliminating Tiffany Richardson, recalling Tyra didn't want any competition. Not only that, but did y'all hear, sidebar, did y'all hear Dineva read Tiffany down to the ground? Because apparently what had happened was, because it all relates, he was talking about Top Model. He said he went to school with Tiffany Richardson. He went to school with a lot of people. He did go to school with a lot of people. Um, So yeah, so he went because it comes from Florida. So he said he went to school with her, and it was a situation. I think he botched the story and she got mad because somebody clipped it and sent it to her. We were saying that she had a lot of mouth when she was in school, and these girls were gonna beat her behind. Her grandmother came down with the car to come get her and came at them with a hammer or something or another situation. Come to find out, Tiffany said no, it was me that had the hammer, and my grandmother knocked me upside the head because she was telling me to get in the car. Probably because them girls gonna beat your ass and you was running off with your mouth. So there was a whole situation regarding that. She told the story. I mean, he told the story, and she went and decided to come for him. And he said that he read a message before he was as he was going live, and was like spent literally the whole. He's like, I don't even care about these topics. Literally spent the rest of the show roasting her. That episode had me. I'm like, God damn. I don't know if I would ever be that harsh. But then again, knowing me in his mouth and me being a Virgo, you never know. Sometimes I have to be like the gloves coming off and go in and let have. So yeah, he went and read her down and was talking about her dead son, and I was like, God damn. But that's how the Miami girls are. They will talk about your whole family and leave no stone unturned. And because she made a comment about him dying of cancer from taking too much up the ass, because apparently he got prostate cancer, and he had to remind her where the prostate is because she apparently thinks it's up your butt. So yeah, there was a whole situation, but it's stage one. It's not stage four. If it was stage four, you got to worry. Stage one is the beginning. So that was the whole story. But if y'all get a chance, definitely go look that up. I had not cackled so hard. I'm like, God damn. But anyway, getting back in this, she said she went off on one girl and it frightened and wait, she said she went off on one girl and it was so frightening that I was gonna get up and hold her down. I don't believe that. I do not believe that Janice was going to get up and hold down Tyra. She says she would go harder on the black girls on the show because of competitiveness and jealousy and her being older than these young women. She was always trying to be this tough teen mom to the girls, but she didn't know them. She didn't give them enough confidence. Claiming that Tyra was profiting off of their pain, she said they left the show completely depressed and depleted while she got rich. America's Next Top Model really tortured these girls for Tyra's ego. I was there and I saw it for 4 seasons. She was a hardcore bitch. And so, with all of this being said, Tyra has not commented to E. And the Daily Mail has approached her reps, and she still hasn't said anything. And this is why I think people look at it from the standpoint of Tyra. It's like, Tyra, girl, you try to use that last Netflix situation as a way to clean up your image and not come across looking crazy or whatever the case was. And it came back and it bit you in the behind. So now people still thinking that you were a monster, whatever the case is. And then, of course, now we got Janice throwing more salt on the wound in the situation. And while it might be good grist for our mill, because we're going to be entertained listening to all this coming out, and I'm sure that after this is going to open more opportunities for, YouTubers or whatever the case is to get Janice to come on their show and spill tea, similar to how Sloan did with, what's her name? With Lisa D'Amato. There's a lot of people all of a sudden hitting up Lisa D'Amato. Popcorn Planet just did a 2-part interview with Lisa D'Amato, and she's on been on that episode too. So this opens the gate for people like Janice Dickinson to come on and tell her side of the story, which may or may not be true. And Tyra's continuing to get railroaded and thrown under the bus. But if she's not going to come out and defend herself and really spill tea and take accountability, then we're going to continue to go on this roller coaster of bullshit. And people still gonna be looking at Tyra like, nah, you sitting there still talking about you want to revive America's Next Time Out of a Cycle 25. We don't want it because you haven't come out and you haven't come out and taken accountability for the stuff that was on the show. You can apologize to the girls on what they went through and everything. I don't think you should apologize for the show because the show was what it was, and the times was what the times was. And now that we know better, we could do better and not repeat those same things that we was doing back in the day in the 2000s before the internet was what it is today. And all the things we went through. Because here's the thing: in reality TV, and especially in this entertainment industry, it's brutal. It's ruthless. There's no situation where it's like, oh, we got to hold and coddle and baby you and all this other stuff. You got to figure out this shit on your own and grow a thick skin. I know it's harsh to say that, but that's just the name of the game with this industry. Eat or be eaten is literally how it is. But I have to say, at the end of the day, it is entertaining to talk about all of this. And I'll definitely be watching this episode when it drops, which I believe is next week. Hold on, let me check and see, because I know I had the date in here. It comes out March 11th at 9 p.m. with 2 back-to-back episodes. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't have E, I'll probably. Oh wait, they said that. Because I was who else is on there? So it said that they speak to not only Janice, but they speak to Cycle 2 Victor Joanna House. I remember her, and Cycle 17 winner Lisa D'Amato, which I did mention. And Lisa said that the reason why she didn't do the Netflix thing was because of Tyra's involvement and all that good stuff. So I'll definitely be watching it. And so yeah, I'll be watching, and yeah, it'll come out next week. But I think that you can catch some of the E programming on Peacock, because I have Peacock. So I'm hoping they upload it up there and I can watch it, because that's how I watch The Traitors and the other show, and then The House of Villains, which just dropped like the first 3 episodes. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Will you be checking out this documentary? They're dropping 2 episodes, Dirty Rotten Scandals. Are you gonna be checking out the America's Next Top Model portion? There were other episodes that they had up in there. I'm definitely interested in watching the Dr. Phil one. And I can't remember all the other ones, but I do remember when I first saw the trailer, I was intrigued. I was like, I'm definitely interested in checking out a lot of these stories that they're going to be covering. But the America's Next Top Model one, I'll definitely be talking about. Since we covered the other one, I'll definitely be talking about it on this show. And do you believe what Janice Dickinson is claiming about Tyra's behavior on America's Next Top Model? So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. You're gonna make fun of me, but I've been thinking about getting blonde highlights for the summer and living my David Beckham fantasy. um, why not? You said I have warm undertone and olive skin, so I'll be able to pull. I was like, look, I would make fun of you. Look, if you've seen some of my old pictures when I was your age, I used to dye my hair. I had blonde hair when I was a kid. I need to find my Barbizon photos and take it and put it up online. And I had platinum blonde hair then. Wearing my parachute pants. My little I would wear like I used to wear like parachute pants back in the day with shell toe Adidas sneakers. And I used to have platinum blonde hair. And then for the tops that I would wear, it would be like I had this Superman one which had like pins all of like safety pins. Like I was thinking very much like the Clash, London Calling, like that whole punk era, because I used to shop a lot in West 8th Street, where at Patricia Field and a lot of stuff. So I would go into a lot of those punk stores and buy a lot of like the wardrobe and stuff in there. So I missed the 90s and the 2000s. We had some good times with the clothes. Well, I did hear that she is suing because she said that there were a lot of people that were turned away from voting. So there might have been some type of voter interference. So I did hear that that's the story surrounding that. Well, do what you need to do. I realize people don't want group apologies. They want everybody named individually. A group apology is such public relations statement. Wait, who's the group apology that they want it from? That actually works. Was like, we need to call her Tyrant Banks. Thank you for that. You know what? If I was a drag queen, that would be my name, Tyrant Banks. It was a Dr. Phil said people liked us treating people mean and have because he was an asshole too. And I'm sad to say that he's a damn Virgo. Yeah, we share a sign. And you said having them unalive themselves and cry on TV, and look, now we got the Cash Me Outside girl talking about she got cancer and she may not make it. And she basically became famous off that show. Hell no, Janice was mean as hell. And I was like, just because I gotta learn to develop a thick skin doesn't necessarily mean you get to treat me like shit and I'm supposed to take it. Yeah, she definitely was mean. And so I don't think that was all on Tyra because there were times when Janice would say some real slick shit and Tyra would give her this look like, bitch, are you for real? So I don't think Tyra was telling her to do all that and she was basically um being performative in her actions. Janice chose to take on that role. I'm sure they did say be a little Simon Cowell-ish or be a little shady because it wasn't just her that was on there being shady. A lot of those judges were saying shady shit, and it felt like they were competing amongst each other. If y'all remember watching the show, because what was the name? The chunky one with the glasses. What's the name? Nole Marin. When he was on, he was shady too. So and Miss J would say shady stuff. Even Mr. J would be shady at times. So and Andre Leon Talley when he was on there. So they all was up in there taking turns being, a little shady with the mouth. But nobody takes the cake better than I almost said Jasmine, than Janice, because we was talking about Jasmine Crockett. Janice was beyond mean with her mouth to the point where I'd have knocked that lady in the next week if I was on that show. But you don't want to end up in jail and blacklisted from the industry. And then 30 years later, people gonna be like, you know what? That person was right to knock her ass. Look, I even said, don't be surprised if one day we get these a docu-series dissecting RuPaul's Drag Race the way they doing Tyra's show. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our next topic, and let's talk about Demi Lovato, who just recently did an interview with Kiki Palmer, who I realized Kiki Palmer's trying to be a little more nuanced for her show, which I actually like. But she's been spilling a little tea. Well, she spilled tea about growing up in the industry and competing with the likes of Miley Cyrus and and Selena Gomez. But not only that, she also spoke up about being in a relationship with somebody who was a little older than her. And she ain't the only one because Kiki opened up about being in an older relationship too. So let's get into one of the topics. We'll go back and forth. So Demi reflected on the hurdles of being a child star during her appearance on Kiki Palmer's podcast. This is Kiki, baby. This is Kiki. You guys say it like an old black woman, baby. This is Kiki Palmer. Now, during the interview, Lovato discussed spending her youth in the spotlight, being compared with fellow Disney Channel stars Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez, and feeling pressure to date older men. Palmer asked Lovato about being on a network that was always pitting its young stars against each other in an attempt to crown the number one girl. And Palmer added, that makes it hard to become friends with people that might relate to your experience. She said, what was beautiful is that Selena and I had a friendship prior to Disney Channel because we actually were on Barney together. So I felt this safety when I came to the Disney Channel, having built a friendship there already. I'm so grateful for that. And that is so true because I totally forgot that Demi was on Barney. I remember Selena was on there, but Barney, I did not. I totally forgot about Demi being on there. But she went on to say this. She said, but it was challenging when, people are comparing you to one another. You naturally have insecurities at a young age, so you start comparing yourself to other people. But one thing my mom instilled in me was there's room for everyone. It's not a competition. And even though it could be competitive, and if you have that mindset, it definitely is competitive. My mom was just always like, there's room for everyone. You have your own voice, your own lane. And that's what I really stuck by. That's what got me through that period. So I was always rooting for everybody. And I'm glad that, that it was cool that her mother distilled that in her because instilled that in her because um anybody else, if you were getting those comparisons, whatever, yeah, there would be a little shade thrown, or you were very dismissive, or whatever the case is, because it all is about your upbringing. If you feel like, yeah, there's room for everybody, it's not competitive, you don't need to compete with this person or that person, you can find your own lane, whatever the case is, then I ain't got to worry about them people and what they doing over there. I do me. Miley is Miley and Selena is Selena. So the fact that she was able to navigate and have that, even though she had her own insecurities, that she found a piece of that self-confidence within herself to not have to compare to these other girls, I think is great. Because here's the thing, when the kids was watching the Disney Channel, I was more Nickelodeon kid, but when the kids was watching the Disney Channel or any of these other shows and they see their fave little young celebrity on there, they're not thinking about, oh, so and so is better than this one, unless that's what they're being indoctrinated with. It's like, I like Demi, I like Miley, and I like Selena for different reasons. And we got to stop the whole competitiveness. But that's grown ass, disgusting ass people in the industry who does this shit and likes to mind fuck with a lot of not only just young people, but just celebrities in general, but particularly young people. So Lovato also said that she has mixed feelings about her time on the Disney Channel, which she joined in 2007 as part of As the Bell Rings, saying there's so many emotions that come to mind when I think about that period in my time of life, or of time in my life. There were the years that started all for me, and I have those fond memories, some not fond memories of the struggling that I had when filming those shows. She added, having struggled with an eating disorder while on camera was really challenging. I struggle with my mental health very much so, and ultimately like very fond memories. I made friends that I will have for the rest of my life. Because like doing a lot of stuff as a kid and going on set, it's almost like summer camp. Now, elsewhere in the interview, Lovato and Palmer, who starred on Nickelodeon's sitcom True Jackson VP as a teen, reflected on engaging in relationships with much older men. Palmer noted that it was likely because she was saddled with a lot of responsibility as the breadwinner of my family just by proxy. She said, I found myself dating. I'm 15. Why was my boyfriend 20? We were trying to find outlets, though, and a way to process this. Why was my boyfriend 30? Nobody our age could understand. But then you look back in hindsight, when I turned 30, I was like, that's not okay. Palmer noted that it seemed normal to her at the time, the moment when you realize and you get to the age of a lot of people that were around you and doing stuff is almost a mental break that can happen because you realize you were taking advantage of me. Oh, I was being exploited at 15. I'm thinking my boyfriend's older because I'm doing an older job. And I think that's where it comes, where it gets a little crazy because when you look at these sort of things, um, I totally get like when you're a kid and you're in the entertainment business, that this is more or less like a grown-ups type of environment that you're in and you're surrounded. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just trying to analyze the situation, make sense. Because I know I've been a kid that been on sets and have been around when you're around a lot of adults and things of that nature. You don't it's very rare when you're around people your own age, but for the most part, you're having to grow up pretty quickly. And yeah, when you're around older people, because you feel like I'm at a mature age in some sort of thing, that I'm on that even playing field with these people. But then on the flip side, they're older and they know better. So why are they pursuing you and making this like it's an okay thing to be screwing a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old when you're 20 and you're 30? Like Wilma Valderrama, since we talking about it. And yes, Wilma Valderrama is fine as hell, trust and believe. But I do agree that it was wrong for him at 30 years old to be dating somebody as young and underage as Demi Lovato. But we're okay with it because it's the industry, which everybody be side-eyeing the industry now and looking at it as like it's one big pedophile ring. Because these grown-ass people around here meddling and fool-la-line around with kids. Because kids are in this world of this grown-up environment and having to grow up fast because of the type of responsibility they have to take on, where you're on a movie set or a TV set and you're working grown people hours and you're making grown people money that you can't even touch until you're a certain age. So it's crazy, but I love the fact that these young ladies who were in the bubble understand the situation, are at a point in their lives of being what in their 30s, and they're speaking on these things so now that people can understand where what they had to deal with on movie sets and and all of what's going through with that. So now Gomez and Cyrus have similarly discussed their experiences on the Disney Channel with mixed feelings. In 2019, Gomez told Elle she felt paralyzed by her public image after being part of the network for so long. She said, once I broke those walls down, because I think being part of Disney, which by the way was one of the best experiences of my life, you do portray an image and you're required in a way to have the image and be the role model and whatever you call it. But the moment I started breaking those walls down, I felt very exposed. So I was very hesitant to share with people, she said. So I would sit down, I'd give the politically correct answers, I would talk about things that I was working on, things that maybe people wanted to hear. And the moment I started realizing that feeling of letting go or maybe judgment or being that exposed to people, I think I realized it was a gift. I was scared of it. I didn't want people to know. But the life that I was given, I believe that I had to share it. So if you guys definitely want to check out the full interview with Demi Lovato, where she's trying to heal her younger self, alongside Keke Palmer. It is up on YouTube. It's on Keke's page. So definitely check that interview out because it is a good one. And if you're interested in speaking, understanding a lot of your fave child stars and what they had to navigate through in this business and making sense of it and healing parts of themselves that the negative aspects of what they had to go through in regard and trying to heal that part of who they were at that time, and so that way they can maturely move on to the next chapter in their life as they progress and grow older in this crazy world. Then definitely check it out because who knows, maybe some of the tools that they use or whatever could help you in your personal life. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Demi Lovato and dealing with the industry as a kid and navigating that world, as long as what Keke Palmer had to say about that? Did you see the interview? And also the fact that these young ladies out here dating old ass, grown ass men who should know better not to be pursuing, you know, teenage girls. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, hold on, 'cause I was like, I gotta close some of these windows. Okay, so now let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Matthew Knowles, who, child, I don't know why y'all out here interviewing that man. Ain't nobody fucking with Matthew Knowles. But anyway, he decided to do an interview recently and decided to throw a little shade at Tina Knowles. Say, that lady, what have you done for me lately? Well, no, basically he said, what has she done for the group? So Beyonce's father walked out of an interview after receiving a comment regarding ex-wife Tina Knowles' involvement in the success of Destiny's Child. Now, during the interview for local New York City news outlet Pix 11, yeah, that's one of our local news channels, published via its YouTube channel on January 31st. We in March. Why is this story coming out now? Anchor Candace Gibson raised the topic of Destiny's Child, Beyonce's former girl group, that Matthew, who's 74, managed and executive produced across various projects. Now, Matthew walked out of the interview after receiving a comment regarding his ex-wife Tina Knowles' involvement. Wait, why is this damn thing repeating itself again? Okay, so now, I do have the clip. Hold on. Let me play the clip for y'all so that way y'all can hear it. Because I was like, wait a minute now. Boom, 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 boom. Normally I have my stuff ready, but it's gonna take a second. We got the video courtesy of the Neighborhood Talk. So we're gonna listen to it and we're gonna come back and talk. Please hold.
Earned your flowers. And I said the same thing to Tina Knowles. You guys put in the work, and obviously the talent was there with your kids and your grandkids.
What work does she put in?
In the hair.
Okay,
clothing,
yeah, you're absolutely right. And the styling.
The styling.
The imaging, you're right.
She claimed to have preyed on the name and different aspects of that.
Sure. Sure.
So, yeah. It's a joint effort.
We'll stop now.
Sorry, did I say something wrong?
No. We're good.
All right.
We're good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. You've earned your flowers. I've said the same thing to.
Did I say something wrong? Oops, I didn't know we couldn't talk about Tina. So I don't understand why he getting all upset in this whole situation. I don't think the man said anything wrong except that now Matthew getting mad because the one thing that he was good at, and that was creating and taking advantage of Destiny's Child. Because what else he got going on now that Beyonce done found her own little lane and decided to go solo and make more money as a solo artist than she did being a part of that girl group that went through more changes than me in my own damn underwear. So what I don't understand is the fact that why you getting mad though? Because to me, I feel like the thing that Tina did contribute to the group was the styling with the House of Diarrhea and doing the hair and all that other stuff. So I would think that part would be what she contributed to. I don't understand why you getting all upset over the fact of what went down. I was trying to see if I can pull up some of the comments over there at the Neighborhood Talk. This is one thing I don't like about the Neighborhood Talk is like, A, y'all post too many goddamn videos. And B, oh wait, I saw where it was. It was right next to Selena Gomez kissing Benny Blanco dirty ass feet. Okay, so what some of the comments said? One person said, wasn't she making their outfits, doing their hair, styling them, and being a manager at times? You don't have to dim her light. That was tacky as fuck. Another person said, Solange will meet him in 2 minutes. Another person said she must have recently declined a "you up" text. Another person said, not what did she do? How about she birthed a star? Well, she birthed two. That'd be her and Solange. But I get what you're saying with the whole Beyonce situation. Another person said, now wait a minute, glasses. Let's not do that one. Oh, I love a good read when people start referring to what somebody got on their face. But like, okay, glasses, don't start now. That's what I be calling that bull dagger over there at Paramount, Barry Weiss glasses. Another one said, "Oh, nothing. She just gave birth to the Beyonce." Another person said, "Don't make Beyonce start talking to you. Stop talking to you again about her mama." Another person said, "This is so disrespectful. At the end of the day, she is the mother of your children. Put some respect on her name." Another person said they're about to cut him off again. So y'all pretty much got the gist. But I don't understand like where all this animosity came from. Matthew always running around here trying to still hold on to what was with Destiny's Child and running around with a stink ass attitude whenever somebody asks about whatever the case is. Whatever your situation was that caused you and Tina, probably because you was fucking another woman and had a baby on her, maybe that's the reason why y'all not together no more because you thought you was Beyonce. Yes, your sperm helped create her, but you not Beyonce. You not the one with the talent. Maybe you used your resource, whatever, to back whatever it was to help her get where she is career wise. But you, I guess, all of that shit went to your head, and you decided to go out and cheat. Hence why you and Tina not together no more. And now you're going to sit up here and disrespect the mother of your children? Make it make sense. So Matthew, you was dead ass wrong for the overall attitude. But according to the article, they said a lot of stuff had transpired prior to him storming out. Because they said after the interview aired, Page Six spoke to Matthew, who said that Gibson arrived 15 minutes late and asked multiple questions about Tina when the interview was supposed to be about a Destiny's Child tribute concert. Matthew's Destiny's Child tribute iconic reimagined tour 2026 journeyed the U.S. in January and February. Matthew, who was married to Tina, as y'all know, from 1980 to 2011, told the outlet, "How it starts is how it ends. It started on a bad note and obviously ended on a bad note for him. I politely ended the interview, shook his hand, and took a photograph." The outlet reported that despite Matthew's claims, Gibson arrived on time for the shoot while the crew was there early to set up. And so at this point, we ain't going to know who's telling the truth. They saying that the reporter was being unprofessional. Matthew out here showing his ass. I don't know what to believe. But then again, I'm starting to believe that maybe Matthew was out here thinking, I'm a diva. Hey, I'm a diva. It's like, that's a Beyonce song. Let her sing that. Nobody said you had to act like the song she sings about. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think Matthew was out of pocket for basically showing his behind in the interview because you're doing something about a retrospective on Destiny's Child and you getting mad because they asking you about Tina? How do you think Kylie Minogue felt every time they asked her about Madonna? She dealt with it. She answered the questions gracefully, and people still think she's a class act because she wasn't. Oh, you're not going to compare me. That's Gaga. She does that shit with the comparisons and getting mad when you pretty much have reheated Madonna's nachos in a lot of ways. But when you go in there, and Kylie has always been a class act when it comes to that situation, but now you're going to get mad over the mother of your child and the comparisons. It's like if she did contribute certain things, then she contributed. Yes, them outfits that was made by the House of Diarrhea was created by Tina Knowles. So we're not going to sit there and act like she didn't contribute to the group as much as you did on the managing side. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Child of Beehive gonna get his ass. Sailor Mermaids in the building. In the dating of older males, where were their parents? I mean, I'm a 15-year-old. As a parent, you have a say. Exactly, because when I was going on auditions and stuff like that as a kid and open casting calls, my parents was there. They were making sure a lot of stuff was not going down all those times when I was a kid and I was going on auditions and all this other stuff. So where is the parents? Because I think a lot of times these parents be trusting um a lot of these parents be out here trusting this industry. I said, don't be leaving these kids. My mother was very much overprotective of me. He said, "Not yeah, that's why we call it House of Diarrhea." I mean, no shade, but them outfits did look like shit until they got a little coins, and then they was able to come up with some better clothes. You said they them look. Don't you be calling her themy? Oh yeah, themy, they themy. Lovato is one level lower than X. And that douche to me, a mean girl who points to everyone else as the problem. The Swiftologist said it best. She's the weakest out of. Oh no, not you comparing. Not you talking about that queen. He said, I grew up watching Hannah Montana, and Wizards of Waverly Place. Yet I have never watched an episode of Demi's Disney show. She was a star on that I can't remember. That's how forgettable it was. Well, she was always kind of like that forgettable girl, unfortunately. He didn't really say much. He just wasn't very enthusiastic about her contributions. So yeah, I guess that's like a slap at her. Mhm. Yeah, you already know they was going to take a piece of this stuff and make it more than what it was because sensationalism sells. But by him responding the way he responded, you brought more attention to it instead of just being graceful about the situation. Like, how is it that Beyonce knows how to be more graceful on camera than her own damn daddy? So clearly she ain't learned that from him. All right, y'all. Let's get into the rest of this show. Let's talk about another washed up child actor. Shia LaBeouf. So apparently, Shia LaBeouf not only is out here using the gay panic defense in regards to why his ass got arrested, but after the whole rehabilitation situation, an insider is basically running around saying that if it's a LaDouche, Shia LaDouche is like, we got Shia LaDouche and Justin Timber douche. So we got two drunks out here who start out as kids in the business who don't know how to keep their mouth off the bottle. But anyway, so we're gonna talk about this one. We already talked about that other lame yesterday, as in Justin. So Shia, if he don't get help, he gonna end up no longer part of the union. So although the troubled actor has been, he better lay low. His bar brawl with two men in which he allegedly hurled homophobic slurs during Mardi Gras celebrations in the Big Easy put him firmly back in the spotlight. But those who know LaBeouf fear his punishment won't truly help the 39-year-old Transformer star who was charged with two misdemeanor acts of simple battery with a third added Saturday. Indeed, sources who have been in his orbit for years call him a master manipulator who is very adept at playing the role of good guy in recovery trying to be a better self. Well, yeah, didn't at one point he went on some show or whatever and started crying and talking about, oh yeah, it was John Bernthal's podcast. Went on there, brought on the waterworks and everything. You really thought his name was Karen with all them damn crying that he was doing. Um, and sit up there trying to put on this whole little song and dance. Talking about how Mia Goth saved his life and all this other shit, and now look at him. A mess. Now, LaBeouf has been accused of subjecting women in his life, including Brit singer FKA Twigs and his estranged wife Mia Goth and stylist Carolyn Foe, to toxic and abusive behavior, saying, "quote He's just so good at convincing people and potential partners they all fall for it," said one LaBeouf source. Page Six is told Goth came close to joining Twigs, real name Talia, I think is it, Talia Barnett, in her 2020 suit against the star in which she accused him of sexual battery, assault, and infliction of emotional distress. Saying, quote, he's so convincing when he says, I've been in recovery, I'm making amends, I'm flawed, I had this terrible childhood and this terrible past. On Thursday, LaBeouf, who was seen drinking a beer and kissing a woman after his, he gonna do to you what he did to the other ones, you better run, after his February 17th arrest outside the R Bar, avoided jail time by agreeing to enroll in substance abuse treatment, undergo drug testing, and post a $100,000 bond. However, one legal source dubbed this celebrity punishment, adding it would involve the actor simply checking into an online service. Wait, they got rehab online? I'm like, you ain't gonna learn shit from the internet. Not in that way. You need to be in a room with some people recovering where there's a bed and meetings and things. But that's only if he's willing to do the work. And I just don't think that Shia is interested in getting better. Like I said, when it comes to people who suffer from addiction, they have to come at it in their own time and when they're ready to do what it is that they need to do. And if they're not willing to take that step, there's nothing you can do. Except, unfortunately, if it gets bad to the point where they're slowly killing themselves because of the excessive amount of drugs that they're doing. Unless they're willing to walk, you can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink it. Unless they're willing to drink that water on their own, you're just going to have to sit there and let them dehydrate, metaphorically speaking, because it's going to take water to hydrate. So what can you do? If you're not willing to get the help, you could force him to pay fines and force him into rehab and threaten jail time or whatever the case is. But if he's not willing to participate and really can't get himself together and not realize that he's got a kid, it's not like he's single. If you were single and you want to ruin your life, then go ahead. But you're a father and you have a wife, which you're estranged from. But like I said, you have a kid. You don't want to live for your own child. So, but yeah, so they went on and said this guy has got to find a way to get sober or die. Eventually, this is going to a tragic ending. And they also said his behavior sounds like an accident. His behavior sounds like an addict. It's just sad that someone with so much to live for continually puts himself at risk. Despite this, LaBeouf doesn't believe he's an addict and doesn't think that he needs rehab. Because when he did his interview with YouTuber Andrew Callahan, which came out over the weekend, he basically said that it's not nice to hurt people ever. It's fucking lame. People got hurt. I got to deal with that. I'm gonna deal with that in full. I'll eat it all. It was on me. It's not on them. It's on me. I messed up. And he basically said that he takes accountability. I mean, that's great and all, but do you really take accountability? Or are you saying it's because the cameras are rolling? And like they said in this whole article, he's a master manipulator. He wants you to think that he's taking accountability. He's trying to work on him. So I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to we hear these stories all the time. And it always sounds good to go along with it and believe it. But when you continue to be a repeat offender and you still using the same talking points and you're spewing the same bullshit, at some point I gotta look at you and be like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. And that's literally what I feel like, based on this story, what Shia is giving. So I hope he gets it together with his whole situation. But okay, this article is long as fuck. How long is this article? There's some page said this shit is 6 minutes. Y'all pretty much got the gist. I don't need to go on anymore with this, but they've said like many of the girls that he's had over the years, from FKA Twigs to Carrie Mulligan, many of the other girls that he's dated, he's been very tumultuous being in a relationship with him. We even played that video of this girl named Drina that he was dating, where we played clips from prior. I can't remember how long ago, but we did a recent episode where she had secretly recorded him. And he was going off on her, calling her a little girl, being very manipulative, like real verbally abusive to her and all this other stuff. When you're going to be a good little girl and apologize, I'm like, what is she, 12? Like, you have a daughter. If your daughter's acting out of line, then you speak to her in that way. But you shouldn't be speaking to a woman you fucking like she's your child. That I don't get. But some of these men got the unmitigated gall to be talking the way they be talking, sometimes out of their mouth. But yeah, so my question is to all of you, do you believe that Shia has any interest in wanting to figure out how to get better? Because I feel like doing drugs, drinking, all that other stuff, and drinking as excessive as he did when he moved to New Orleans and was down there at Mardi Gras, there's very much some things that you did, because they said that he had like a tumultuous childhood. And I don't know much about his childhood. I don't know if he's spoken a lot about what happened in his past growing up and his parents or whatever the case is. But at a certain point, sir, you're pushing 40. You have to come to a point where you're willing to do the work on yourself. If it's not rehab, work on figuring out, getting to the root of that wounded inner child that you continuing to self-medicate because you don't want to deal with whatever issues of that inner child that is wounded and been hurt and whatever the case is. Heal that aspect of yourself and you'll be able to heal all the other things. And that'll probably be better off than you going to rehab. Because maybe rehab isn't for him. Maybe rehab is probably not for everybody. But there are other tools that you can use, especially with you being a celebrity and having money and resources that you could use to become a better person. There's no excuse on your end. because you can afford all the things. Unlike some people out here who aren't as well off financially as you are. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you believe Shia LaBeouf, or do you think he's sitting there pulling our leg or pissing on our leg and telling us it's raining, a la Judge Judy? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I haven't run the alarm all year. Netflix announces a BTS comeback concert. Speaking of Beyonce, ring the alarm. But yeah, I think we talked about that on the show. BTS has a comeback concert that's airing on Netflix. Or maybe I didn't bring it up. I think I posted it on my website. Harry Styles is doing a one night only concert this weekend on Netflix in promotion of the new album that comes out this week. Yeah, so Netflix is definitely getting in the game of, pushing the boundaries on what they're going to be doing. All the members of BTS may be out of the military, but I don't see anyone excited about their music anymore. That's the thing about long hiatuses in this day and age. The fans move on. True, but the question remains, are they moving on? Because Harry Styles was gone for 4 years and he coming back. The people seem excited. And yeah, that is true, especially when it comes to K-pop. Like if BTS and Blackpink and all of them, they were the ones that were like really blew up the whole K-pop era. And since then, they've come out with so many other Stray Kids and Tomorrow X Together. Like there's so many new groups that have transpired since then. So, you stomp one roach, 50 more come out. That's literally how it is with this whole K-pop situation. But yeah, I haven't even heard any of their new music. So we'll see if people care once the numbers come out for that Netflix special. Definitely. He avoids accountability by jumping from relationship. Yeah, and drinking. Then says he's going to change. I want to say it, but since you said it in the comment, because we've had our conversations. But I'll be telling nobody business unless you want me to tell it, or unless you want to tell it. All right, now speaking of massive manipulators, let's talk about Andy Cohen. So a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember exactly because we do so many shows on here, I can't keep up. But recently, I'll say, what was it? Tim Gunn went on a podcast, and I remember he mentioned this before, but he brought it up again that he was in a relationship with someone back in the day. I think it was like 40 some more years ago. I think it might have been back in 1978 or some shit. But he said about 4 decades. We'll just stick with 4 decades because it's an easier number to go with instead of the specifics. But he said about 4 decades ago, he was in a relationship. His significant other basically looked at him in the bed and was like, I'm moving on. I need you to get your shit and get out of my house. First of all, that house would have went up in flames like Bernadine husband clothes and waiting to exhale if you did some shit like that to me. And I'm just like, I'll just eat the charges. I don't care. What you're not going to do is look at me across the damn bed and tell me to get my shit within 30 seconds and get about your house because you've been fucking other people. And that's exactly what he was doing while he was in a relationship with Tim Gunn. Hurt him to the point that Tim was like, and they said they was co-workers, which is the worst. Because it's like, damn, I'm gonna burn your house down and I'm gonna burn you down in your job. Then you go to jail for arson. But you get what I'm saying. I'd have been that pissed. So Tim was like, since that whole situation went down, it turned him off from wanting to be in an actual relationship since then. So since then, he has not been in a relationship with another man. And I'm sitting there like, sir, I don't give a good goddamn how much my feelings is hurt. I will never turn myself off from wanting to be in a relationship. Or even if it would have gotten up, I probably have been more Brian Kenny about it. Like, I'm just fucking dudes, but I'm not going to get in a relationship because I was hurt so bad. I don't want my heart to be broken. So I'd rather just, and especially when you live in a metropolis, you can get away with that. Just like new man coming in, there's so many, pieces of candy you could pick from. Different things you can pick of the litter. And you don't have to settle down to be in a relationship. You get your relationship side and all the comfort of all that from your friends. But if I need to get a nut off, You think I'm gonna just be over here with just me in my hand? I'm not here for your entertainment. You don't mess with me tonight. So now I'm having a pink moment because she has a song called "You in Your Hand." So, so now word on the street, and this is the street being Rob Shutter over there at on his Naughty But Nice Substack, is saying that Andy wants to get all up in Tim's business and wants to help him wook and penub, hopefully in all the white places. So, if there's one man qualified to stage manage a late in life love story, it's none other than Andy Cohen, the undisputed king of dating, casual sex, and cocktail. Okay, there's got to be a joke in this line. Because they said the undisputed king of dating, casual sex, and cocktail feud matchmaking in New York City. Here's the thing: Andy Cohen can't even get a man for himself. So, how the hell he going to find Tim Gunn one? But anyway, let's get in the article. Long before Tim's recent celibacy confession stunned fans, he was part of Andy's original rival dynasty. When Project Runway first stitched itself into pop culture history, Tim was working under Andy's executive reign. Loyalty like that doesn't fade, it ferments. Saying, quote, Tim working for Andy Cohen when Project Runway launched on Bravo, there's real loyalty there. This is real affection. And affection in Andy's world usually comes with a dinner reservation and at least 3 eligible bachelors on standby. So now, after Tim revealed he's been celibate for 43 years following a devastating breakup during the early days of the SIDA crisis, friends rallied, but Andy, he's taking it personally in a sweet way, mostly, saying, quote, Andy thinks Tim deserves joy in every form. If that includes a fabulous late in life love story, he's here for it. Translation, Andy is ready to work the phones. Now, let's be clear, this is a man who can turn Hampton's weekend into a dating Olympics. He knows who's single, who's emotionally available, and who just thinks they are. If there's a charming architect with a townhouse in the West Village and a fondness for bow ties, Andy already has him pre-screened. But wait, it gets better. I'm told Heidi Klum has also entered the chat. Yes, Heidi has been calling her fabulous homosexual friends to see who is free. Because if there's one thing Heidi loves more than Halloween, it's a romantic plot twist. Now, here's the thing. If friends are trying to help Tim Gunn look for love, I think that's a noble thing. I also don't, but on the flip side, I don't know how I feel about that because sometimes I don't think some people know what a person's type is. And you trying to hook me up with somebody, and I'm like, it's a bad experience. I've had people try to hook me up in relationships, and I'm like, girl, I'm about to whoop your ass. Because first of all, you really don't know me as a person. Y'all be thinking that just because we're all homosexuals that we have that in common. Yeah, we all got dicks and ass, but there's more to me than that. There's things that I don't, and honestly, I feel like for me, like relationship wise, I don't have a specific type. It all depends on energy and chemistry and how we get along and conversation. Like you also have to be able to carry a damn conversation. Because if you can't carry a conversation, you say some dumb shit, I'm out. And I think it's hard for me today because as a Virgo, I'm such a perfectionist. And I can be a little nitpicky in a lot of things. And it takes a lot for me to give people a chance, which I know can be annoying for a lot of people. So I'd rather just start in a friend situation. And if it develops into something else there, maybe I need to open myself up a little more because I could be a bit of a hard ass. I will admit that. But Tim has to be ready to take that step because I would be damned if I'm going to be my 60s and 70s and I ain't getting my nut off. Like, are you crazy? I mean, I don't know if Tim is out there. See, that would have been a good question to ask. I'm like, are you at least like fornicating? Are you even getting it in with some dudes? Or is it literally just you just don't engage with other men? Because I'd be damned if I'm gonna let one person have me in a chokehold for the rest of my life while this mother flower is running around screwing Tom, Dick, and Harry. I ain't never gonna let somebody just enter me into forever celibacy. Hell to the no. I'm gonna I may like close myself off in a relationship unless it just accidentally falls into that. But I'm gonna still get my nut off, especially if you live in New York. And Tim is in New York, so I don't understand why he would close himself off from that. But like I said, I don't know. Look, I don't know how Andy trying to do whatever he's doing. I'm like, but Andy is single, but you're gonna be able to find somebody else a relationship. Then they said, but look, then again, they said the same thing about Patty Stanger. Remember when she did Millionaire Matchmaker? How you hooking people up and you ain't got a man? But sometimes I guess it's best that people are better at hooking other people up but can't find shit for themselves. It happens. So we have that. And I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Can you see Andy Cohen possibly hooking Tim Gunn up in a relationship or Heidi Klum? But like I said, it all depends on. It's still a whole, it's a lead a horse to water type situation. He has to be ready to take that step. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so I will get to those comments in a second, but before we get to what y'all had to say on this topic, let's get into this topic because it also has to do with Andy Cohen. Let's get into this Kathy Griffin tea. So Kathy Griffin is speaking out on where she stands with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper. Because remember, back when she did the whole headless Trump situation and Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper decided to kind of distance themselves away from her, she started getting blacklisted from the industry and a whole bunch of other stuff. And she thought they was fake. And then here come Andy taking her job over there down at the CNN. Which is probably good because CNN is trash any damn way at this point. So, I was like, hold on. So yeah, let's I was like, where did I put I was like, where did I put the picture? I got it. I forgot where I put it or what I put it under. So yeah, let's get into this tea. So shout out, I guess, the queer tea for this story. So they said on pressuring Andy and Anderson to speak up about Trump's dystopian immigration tactics in Minnesota. Oh, I think what it was. Oh yeah, I remember this because this is the first time I'm looking at this. Remember, there was around the whole situation that happened with Don Lemon. Um, there was a whole situation that happened with Don Lemon and going down to Minnesota and all that other stuff. And she was like, you know what? With everything going on, how come Anderson Cooper, who has prided himself on being in the trenches of what's going on politically, how come all of a sudden you've been radio silent when it comes to what this regime is currently doing, especially to the people in Minnesota? And for people who think that ICE left, no, they're still there doing a bullshit. It's just the media stopped covering it. So she said it worked. I guilted them and I shamed them, and they both can't stand me. But I couldn't help it. I said, I'll put our beef aside. And Anderson, you have to go to Minnesota. We need famous faces there. And by the way, then his thunder was stolen by Don Lemon, who I've been corresponding with. And then I said to Andy, I know you do a silly show. Watch what happens live, but take a minute. And then he did. She said, well, this ain't gonna happen. She said, I would like to see Jimmy Fallon get political, and he's not. That's the place where it kind of felt safe. And I would have liked Stephen Colbert to push back on CBS Paramount more the way Jimmy Kimmel did. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel don't give a good goddamn. He's like, I'm going in. And I think that's why, I don't particularly like Jimmy Kimmel's show. I am pissed at you, Jimmy, because you did that whole recent thing with Gavin Newsom and gave some little award or whatever. I was like, that was your misstep. But I like all the stuff that you've been doing as a way going in on Trump. That's been funny. Stephen Colbert, I would definitely like him to push back more because you about to lose your job. So it's like, I would have taken more of the other guy's approach. I ain't got nothing to lose. And I'm going to just go in and drag this heifer until y'all kick me off the set. And don't expect Jimmy Fallon to go in and be be confrontational because Jimmy Fallon he's a horrible interviewer. His show is horrible. And he's not someone who takes risks. So, especially with us watching his show or like the clips I've seen, he's so annoying when he interviews these celebrities. It was a lot for me to sit through his interview with Nev Campbell when he was talking about Scream. I couldn't get, it was a struggle. But it's also like, depending on people, when he has, he also had Connor Story on. I was trying to watch that one. He's so insufferable as a host. I can't. He's just horrible at hosting. But I'm gonna tell you who's really good at the host. If we're gonna get into that topic, when we come up with the next topic. But she also said, but obviously Jimmy is the winner in this one because he sat down with top Disney executives, Bob Iger and Dana Walden, and just looked them right in the face and said, "No, I'm not gonna stop making fun of Trump, and you'll have to take me off the air." And then Trump got him off the air for something like 3 nights, and the backlash was so enormous that even Bob Iger said, "Okay, we'll let you do whatever you want about Trump." And that's what you have to do. When you give that man an inch, he'll take a mile, and it never ends. So when you stand up against the bully, when you stand up against fascism, they have no choice but to, concede and bend the knee and go along with it. So you can sit up there and call somebody untalented and this, that, and the other, but people are loving the fact that Jimmy Kimmel's being a rebel going up against, this wannabe fascist regime. So she went on to say, so I think Jimmy Kimmel is really leading the way. And right now, the way we got him back on the air is the most successful of our moves as lefties. People wrote in and wrote old-fashioned letters and emailed ABC and Disney. I wish more celebrities would have that level of balls. And yeah, I agree with that because I totally agree with her. Wait, hold on. Don't tell me this whole time while I'm sitting there reading her situation, that she posted this on Instagram. I'm like, I could have just played the damn clip. But hold on. I think this is the one prior to where she went in on Andy Cohen. Let me pull it up for y'all. And then y'all can watch this clip. But I said this might be just as entertaining. I don't think it's the same one, but hold on. Yeah, we'll get into it. Hold on. Please hold.
I'm putting aside my beef with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper is because I want you guys to recognize that you have a much larger microphone and platform than little D-lister Kathy Griffin. And Anderson, why aren't you on the ground? Why aren't you in Minnesota, boots on the ground, being the reporter that I knew you to be? How many times did we hang out and you had just come back from Pakistan, or you had come back from the Arab Spring uprising and you were covering it? Just have to call out you and all the other anchors that are sitting in their studios, safe and sound, when you guys should be on the ground in all parts of Minnesota. We need your handsome face out there, boots on the ground, talking to real live people that are protesters. If people see you talking to those people, Anderson, they're going to believe it because we know you and we trust you. The reason I am putting aside my beef with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper is because
Okay. So that's pretty much what she said, and I'm here for her on this. But then I came across this thing because I was like, let me play that clip while I bring up this other article. So speaking of Rob Shutter, what we was talking about earlier, he came out with this story regarding Don Lemon apparently gloating over the fact that Anderson Cooper is facing CNN's uncertainty. Because remember, Anderson Cooper left CBS because of the whole situation that's going on, the whole takeover, and now Anderson Cooper's at CNN, and now the same people, the Ellisons, and they talking about Barry Weiss is also going to be taking over CNN once they get their hands on it, and she's going to ruin it like she's doing CBS. But funny enough, CNN's already ruining its reputation with all the bullshit and propaganda they already post on there, and not just with Scott Jennings, it's just the propaganda in general from a lot of them over there. So here's the article. So it says, is Don Lemon savoring the moment as longtime rival Anderson Cooper faces fresh uncertainty at CNN, with merger chatter swirling around parent company Warner Brothers Discovery and ongoing industry shakeups rattling the newsroom? Insiders say old tensions are bubbling back to the surface, saying Don absolutely feels vindicated. One media insider tells Rob, saying he thinks the culture that pushed him out is finally being exposed. While, of course, Anderson rode it till the wheels started to fall off, and it's still riding. He's holding on for dear life. Now, Don Lemon's 2023 exit followed months of public controversy and behind-the-scenes friction. While both he and Anderson publicly insisted there was no personal feud, staffers long whispered about a distinctly frosty dynamic between the two primetime stars, saying Anderson always saw himself as the gold standard. There was a quiet hierarchy, and Don knew exactly where he stood in it. Now, as CNN navigates internal anxiety over potential leadership changes and strategic pivots, some insiders say Cooper's once untouchable status no longer feels quite as solid, saying nobody is safe in a merger, not even Anderson. When new executives come in, loyalties shift fast. Absolutely, because these are new people that y'all are under new management. And when you're under new management, these people these people don't really know you and what you're about. And if they have a certain agenda that they're pushing, that's where they're going to go. And they're going to put people that align with whatever their goal is for that particular studio. So they also went on to say that Lemon insists they said, well, according to sources, they said that Don is watching closely, saying, let's just say that Don cannot get enough of Anderson working for a friend of Trump. There's a sense that karma has a long memory. Cooper, who maintains a high profile both on air and socially, has not addressed speculation about his future. A veteran network insider offers this blunt assessment, saying, in television news, today's star could be tomorrow's restructuring casualty. Don learned that the hard way. Anderson may be learning it now. And here's the thing. Don Lemon, whether you agree with how he comes across politically or not, the smartest thing he did was get fired. He got his little $25 million severance pay, took his ass over to YouTube, launched his channel, and is very successful being an independent newscaster, a news reporter. Same thing with Joy Reid. The best thing she did was leave MSNBC. I am not calling it that other damn channel. MSNBC, and is now independent on YouTube. Everybody coming to YouTube because they know that's where the money resides. That's where it's at. And when you already have a built-in fan base, those people that you accumulated over there on MSNBC is going to come over to YouTube, and plus new people where it's like, oh, now she's saying all the things that she was prohibited not to say, and now she's got the balls to actually say it because she's not controlled by a corporate overlord, which is what people like Anderson and them still want to sit up under. Which I got to realize, legacy media is on his last legs. So if you want to continue to ride an old horse until the horse collapses and keels over and dies, be my guest. But I definitely can't see Anderson Cooper annoying ass coming over to YouTube and trying to do a show and people actually giving a good goddamn what he got to say. Because to me, he's a little too performative for my take. Like I don't really feel like you have it within you to really give people the true tea on whatever screen you're gonna be in front of. You doing what them people over there telling you to do in corporate media. So that's why I feel like it's safe for you. So I say all that to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Kathy Griffin and saying that basically I shamed them into I guilted and shamed them into submission, into coming out and doing, because of the whole situation that happened with Minnesota and Don Lemon coming out and going down to Minnesota. Now he got to deal with all these stupid legal repercussions and political theater because they're mad that he went down and do a job. But that was a witch hunt on what they're doing with Don. The whole thing, trying to file these frivolous ass lawsuits. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so let's see what the people are saying. Do they even sell Pure Sales? Are people really excited for Harry Styles, though? People of this target. I don't know. We'll find out. You think he's asexual? Aromantic. Yeah, I could definitely say maybe that is what he's kind of like. He's probably at a point in his life where it's like, you know what, I'm asexual. The people who give me gratification are like my friends. It's not people I don't get gratification through sex. And that's how he feels. And that's his thing. I definitely miss Funny Kathy. Well, I thought that was not Pandora Box. It definitely was given that. Plus, is Anderson Cooper part of the Rothschild? No, he's not Rothschild. No, you know who's related to the Rothschild? No, he's a Vanderbilt. His mother was Gloria Vanderbilt. The Rothschilds is who Nikki Hilton is married to one of the Rothschilds. But yeah, Anderson is part of the Vanderbilt family. So yeah, it's like when you were born into, I mean, even though he said he didn't really recoup any of the money and everything, when you're born into royalty in some ways, why would you go against the very establishment you were born into, right? I was gonna say, how'd you get Scream 7? It's still in the movies. He said, I just purchased Scream 7 thanks to a bundle that has 5 to 7. The bootleg? Can you imagine they did that? It was like, Scream 7 is in theaters, but you can purchase it at home within a week. So these movies wouldn't make no money. All right, y'all. Now, speaking of people who I think definitely has what it takes to be to jump in the talk show space, and it surprised the hell out of me. Let's talk about Pink because I just watched her interview with Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox. I'm like, she's a natural at being like, I didn't know how she would come across doing like filling in for Kelly Clarkson, but after watching, I'm like, she's definitely got. I mean, she's definitely got the personality. But we've always known that Pink has had, personality because that's one of the things I think most people liked about her is that she was spunky and she had personality and she wasn't just some brain dead pop star that just said whatever was told to her. But according to Rob Shutter over on his Substack, um, she's looking for a big payday if they want her to replace Kelly Clarkson. So they said the Kelly Clarkson show has been canceled, as we know, and the scramble behind the scenes is already underway. Insiders tell Naughty But Nice that executives pulled the plug after months of intense cost scrutiny. Despite solid ratings and a devoted fan base, the numbers simply stopped making sense in today's tighter ad market. Saying it came down to dollars. The show was expensive, and daytime margins are thinner than ever. Now, all eyes are on Pink. Yes, talks are happening. Yes, the interest is real, but so is the price tag. Pink absolutely wants the job, but she's asking for significantly more than Kelly was making. She knows her worth and she's not discounting it. No, another insider adds, if they meet her number, it's a major investment. If they don't, she walks. It's that simple. NBC is exploring a larger overall deal, potentially tying the gig to a role on The Voice to justify the payday. Daytime shakeup or high stakes gamble. And look, so they said that they would want to get Pink not only to do the talk show, but also The Voice. How many times, maybe y'all haven't heard me say this, but I can't tell you how many times I have stated that I would love to see Pink on a show actually, I said American Idol. I said I think that she would be a good judge over there. American Idol is so damn boring and so middle of the road and conservative now. It's like y'all can have that trash. But I don't know anybody of this generation even cares about American Idol is still watching it. I just think that older people, because it's been on for so long, it just be on in the background and people ain't really paying attention to it. But when thinking about this thing, I mean, I think Pink did a great job so far hosting the Kelly Clarkson show. She seems that genuinely curious when she's interviewing a lot of the people that she has on there. She has funny stories. She has the gift of gab. She makes jokes, and I'm sitting there laughing right along with her. So she seems very much in the pocket and very comfortable sitting in a chair and engaging and having conversations with other celebrities. So she's very good at this job. Now, when she come in, because it's going to be very Sherry Shepherd the way she comes in regards to this show, you have to mold it. If she does come on board, you have to make this show work around her. And I don't know if a lot of people, if she's resonating with a lot of people yet, but I definitely think that Pink has what it takes to be the next big talk show host. And it's not a lot of people that's good at this because I always say, like, yeah, y'all be getting a couple of singers and that seems to be the trend now that y'all want to take singers and put them in a lot of these positions to host a show. But a lot of these musicians also don't have the personality or the gift of gab. And when you look at somebody like Pink, she definitely checks all those boxes. Plus, she's a Virgo. So a lot of us Virgos, we're very good at being messengers of personalities and having to deal with public service and that sort of thing. When you look at people like Pink, when you look at people like Keke Palmer's a Virgo, and she has her own show on YouTube, and so many others. Myself, I'm a Virgo. We have the gift of gab, know how to converse with people, and have and engage and be genuinely curious about people and what's going on in their life and that sort of thing. So she's definitely perfect for the job. Now the question remains, how much money is she trying to get? Because I feel like if you are relatively new to this game, yeah, you know your worth as a musician, and we know that Pink definitely every time she's about to go on tour, she sells out her shows. People definitely know she is the real deal when she performs live. The time she used to fly around the damn arena at Madison Square Garden, now she be doing stadiums, and then she also has done like she could do a residency in Australia and sell out all the shows. That's how popular she is. But you're talking about the TV world, which is completely different than music. So you can't say that whatever her worth is, that she wants that in TV when you haven't proven yourself as a talk show host yet. And I'm not saying that just a week of her doing, the Kelly Clarkson show, that's going to be enough for people to want to jump on board with her. And then I also saw that she's been bringing her daughter Willow out on stage with her and perform and those other stuff. And I'm like, damn, that girl got big. I mean, when she was this big, there's always this girl Kathy, because it reminds me of this when I was a kid. I mean, when you was little, that's literally what I'm gonna take that line from and put it on. I'm like, damn, I remember when Pink kids was this big, and now I'm like, damn, a girl got chest and boobs and everything. I'm like, what the fuck? But this is life. Kids get older, they grow, they have these big growth spurts, and it shocks the hell out of us. And it's like, well, damn, I didn't think you was gonna be a teenager already. I thought you'd still be like 6 or 7 years old. So as I was saying before, I would definitely love to see Pink come in the TV talk show space. And if she does, um, I hope that NBC does right by the show. And I don't know, is she on Peacock or any of those channels? Because I don't know. I mean, the only thing I would ever see of Kelly Clarkson's show would like be clips. Like they don't put the whole episode up on YouTube like they do The View or Sherry Shepherd or even Tamron Hall. Like when they put all those shows up, they put up the whole episode, and they'll put up clips too, but they put up the whole episode. They don't do that with Kelly Clarkson or Pink, whatever. And honestly, I mean, Kelly Clarkson is who she is, and I like Kelly because she does definitely love to talk, and she has a great voice. But to me, I think like Pink is very much a natural at this. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you seen Pink so far on her getting her talk show bag? And do you think that this story from Rob is true, that she wants a big payday if y'all gonna sign her on the dotted line? Because they were saying like, yeah, they saw that she moved to New York. So of course she still has her big old ranch or whatever, like with her winery where she makes wine and all this stuff out in California, which she can go out there during the summer when it's hot. But in the wintertime, when she's doing a talk show, it was like, yeah, they said she got a townhouse that she lives in temporarily until, I guess she goes back. But I could definitely see them wanting to woo her in, because I can't think of anybody else that'd be a possible replacement for Kelly Clarkson while she leaves. And they trying to hold on to that time slot for dear life. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, let's see what the people are saying. Mm-mm-mm-mm. You said the real world is stop going by social media. Social media is the matrix. More people wanted him to do a huge tour. Nobody can afford the New York City. We talking about Harry Styles? You said Fandango at Home has official bundles. It went on sale on Friday. Oh, okay. Well, I know you can watch all 6 screams on Paramount Plus if you want to do that. He said, I love me some Pink, but if everyone else talk show is getting the chop, why does she think it'll be any different for her? Exactly. You already know they crunching numbers around here. Like I said, daytime TV, and the format surrounding daytime is dying. people are getting their information because I did watch Sherry Shepherd. I don't watch Sherry Shepherd, but I watched her show the other day because they had the Jays and Nigel Barker on from America's Next Top Model, and they were talking about the Netflix thing. So I sat and watched her show. I'm like, girl, your opening is boring. I don't care about these things, these topics you're talking about. They all play into this thing because they don't want to hurt the sponsors or whoever the advertisers and all this other stuff. And it's like people want nuance, people want edge. That's why they come to us on social media because we giving y'all the tea that these celebrities are scared to give y'all. And y'all trying to abide by old rules that pretty much don't exist anymore. Or people just you're not that interesting. So that's why they're canceling a lot of these shows. They're too expensive and they don't care about the celebrity interviews y'all got. Y'all doing 5-minute interviews and they're saying like versus I could see the same celebrity that you sitting there doing a 5-minute interview on go on Hot Ones with a runny ass nose answering crazy questions while their mouth is on fire. So, or people who are better interviewers like a Keke Palmer where they're really taking the time to get in the pocket and break down a lot of the conversations that they're having. Like really getting the conversation. And I can spend an hour with that celebrity versus 5 minutes of them just coming on and answering stupid questions and promoting their movie or their new music or whatever. I watched The Voice where Ariana was a judge, and that was the only time I did. Yes, Pink could own her own talk show. I see her doing something more like a Ricky Lake type. Not Ricky Lake. Could you imagine if Pink gets up there and does like what or like a Pink or like a Ricky Lake or like Karamo? That'd be funny. Because she seems pretty grounded. Well, that's because she's an earth sign and able to relate to non-famous people. That's part of her appeal. Yeah, and also her coming from Philly, so she is kind of like that regular. She comes, even though she has a lot of money and she's a celebrity, she comes across as like a regular girl. I also watched Screen Queens because Ariana was in it and ended up falling in love with it. I'm excited to see what she'll do on American Horror Story this Halloween and her tour. It'll definitely be interesting to see what she does. I don't think they can because the music copyrights at NBC doesn't want to pay for the license. That's why it's the clips. Well, yeah, they being cheap. But yeah, I think it might be on Peacock. People like the talk shows unfiltered. They want the cuss words. Oh, people just want real, genuine authenticity when it comes to their personalities. That's what we are now. People just they don't want the fake and the phoniness and the very she foo Hollywood of it all. They want real real people giving real opinions. And not just blown. I mean, there are people out there that just like when people just be talking a bunch of crap because it's entertaining. But I choose to bring a little fact with my shade. I like to, I'm well rounded. I like to mix it up. I can be shady. And I can be also bring the facts. Okay, y'all. So now let's get back into the show since we had a little moment. Let's talk about Tyler Perry. So Tyler Perry is finally breaking his silence regarding this whole $77 million assault allegation from Mario Rodriguez. And of course, Tyler Perry sounds like a parrot at this damn point because he's saying basically it's a shakedown. I mean, which is what he said about every situation that he's been in. Well, because, this is not the first time he's been accused of being inappropriate with someone of the same gender. So in an answer filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court on February 27th, Perry denied each and every allegation made by Mario Rodriguez and laid out 19 affirmative defenses. The 56-year-old's attorneys argue the complaint fails to state valid legal claims, that Rodriguez did not suffer damages, and that any alleged contact was consensual. Wait, let me run that back. They said that he fails to state valid legal claims, that Rodriguez did not suffer damages, and that any alleged contact was consensual. So are you admitting that y'all was doing things together and saying that it was consensual and not against his will? Because quiet as it's kept, but I'm going to say this. Do I think Tyler Perry might be a friend of Dorothy? I do. And do. Allegedly, I'm gonna say that, but I do feel like because Tyler likes to hire men who are fine as hell but couldn't act their way out of a goddamn paper bag. And having a bunch of pretty asses on set, I guess, is enough for some people. And I don't think that it's required to be coming across like you're Shakespeare when you're delivering horrible ass lines written and produced and directed and edited by Tired Perry. But I do be feeling like a lot of you men know the tea when it comes to Tyler. Like Tyler definitely gives me self-hating homosexual. He definitely gives me that. And because of he's cucked to the church and all that other stuff, you know what goes on within the black church and how a lot of the black church feels about black gay people. So I could definitely see that self-hatred runs through that one. And I do feel like a lot of men like Mario and the other one, what's his name, Derek Dixon. I do feel like y'all saw a diamond, you saw a gold mine, and you decided to take advantage. So I do think that two things can be true at the same time. That Tyler was trying to have his cake and eat it, and I think a lot of you men was trying to manipulate and take advantage of the situation, even if you weren't sexually attracted to Miss Mabel. Yeah, because Medea's name is Mabel, so that's why I said that. So. They also went on to say the response goes further, describing the lawsuit as a fabricated attempt to extract money after Perry allegedly stopped providing Rodriguez with financial assistance. So you're admitting that too, that the fact was that financially you was going along to get along. And what I do think that happened, because you got to read between the lines in these situations, Tyler probably got tired of his ass and probably saw some new ass that he wanted to pay for. And now that you wasn't getting your way no more, now you want to file a lawsuit. So you was willing to go along and being an alleged male prostitute by doing whatever it needed to get out of Tyler Perry because this man's a billionaire, and you didn't mind that he was showering you with a little cointata. And so now that the cointata stopped, now you want to come in and start filing lawsuits. That's what I'm getting from all of this. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. I got to say that. Now, Perry is also seeking to move the case to federal court. The filing states that he and Lionsgate intend to remove the action to the United States District Court for the Central District of California. Rodriguez's initial lawsuit, obtained by People, paints a very different picture. He alleges that Perry SA'd him and made unwanted advances while promising acting opportunities. Rodriguez appeared as frat guy number 10 in Perry's 2016 film Boo, A Madea Halloween. Now, in the complaint, Rodriguez claims Perry invited him to his home under the guise of discussing work, and during one alleged incident in 2018, grabbed him despite repeated requests to stop. He further alleges Perry told him, "If you were to just be with me, I would take care of you," and says that after the two incidences, Perry apologized and gave him $5,000. Rodriguez is seeking $77 million in damages. And I know some people are like, well, why is he asking for that much money? Just like the other one asking for over $200 million. And I said, because they know they ain't going to never get another role ever again in life. So they trying to just pay me for my pain. So I do think that two things can be true at the same time. Did Tyler see this man and was trying to make moves on him and talking about, well, if you just give in to the temptation and let me get my little rocks off every now and again, like I'll take care of you financially. And I know you got things going on in your life where you need a little financial pick me up, and I'll definitely give you what you need. And he probably did go along, but now that the well has run dry, now he going around trying to say that Tyler did this, this, and this. But you probably was an equal participant. And I know people gonna probably come in here and be like, well, here you go, victim shaming and all sorts of stuff. No, because I look at things from a case-by-case situation. But based off of the facts, when I'm reading and all of this is what I'm taking from it. I mean, I could be wrong. And if I'm proven wrong, I'll come up on here and eat metaphorical crow. Because I don't know where I'm going to get a real crow from and eat it. Where did Wendy Williams get hers from? So I'll come up on here and metaphorically eat crow, but for the most part, I definitely feel like that y'all both were trying to get something out of the situation. I do feel like that you probably looked at the situation and saw a bigger gold mine. You were able to get something out of it, and when the well ran dry, you decided to go and file a suit. And I do feel like Tyler saw you and saw an opportunity because you were just some little extra. You were frat boy number 10. You didn't even have a name in his show. And there were some situations that went on, and Tyler saw your little pretty behind and wanted to get some of it. Because I do think there's a lot of that you still haven't come to terms with being a homosexual. I wish that these people out here would just come to terms with what they really get down with and just live their life as they see fit. You're a man who has your own empire, all the money in the world, but you still out here trying to hide because of a certain institution that you feel like will turn their back on you if you come out of the closet. They ain't turn their back on Donnie McClurkin, and they ain't turn their back on Kim Burrell. So if they ain't turn their back on none of them, why they gonna turn their back on you? Especially with all the money you be throwing at the mega churches. So we already know all this shit is a grift, especially when it comes to the church situation. So why would they turn their back on somebody who throws money at them like they making it rain in a strip club? So do I have any more to add to this story? So I should point this out that Rodriguez and speaking of Derek Dixon, they're sharing an attorney, Jonathan J. Delshad. And Dixon, as you know, he was in the Oval. He filed a $260 million suit in June alleging harassment, assault, and retaliation, which Perry also denies. So if you go, I hope you can prove me wrong in this whole situation. But in the meantime, this is where I'm at with it. And I'm definitely will be keeping abreast and my eye. I'll definitely keep myself abreast and my eye on this story as it continues to develop. Because all it is a response. But once it goes to the courts, we'll see. But then again, Tyler might get away with it and there'll probably be a settlement or whatever the case is, because this is a David and Goliath type situation. You're going up against a media tyrant. I mean, titan, media tyrant. I mean, he could be a tyrant, but a media titan. And it's like a David and Goliath type situation. We'll see who makes it out in the end on the other side. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Tyler Perry basically saying that Mario Rodriguez's assault allegations is a shakedown? And it didn't seem like he denied any of the allegations. He basically just said that if it was consensual. Because I'm saying, if you saying something was consensual, are you admitting that you was actually getting down with this dude? You finally saying the quiet part out loud, sir? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. No, I agree with you. Not victim shaming. I really believe he took the perks. They stopped, and now he's trying to get them another way. Absolutely. I just don't believe handsome men start working for Tyler not knowing he going to try to get at. Okay. You don't want to look shame on this show, but Tyler Perry is not snagging a Mario Rodriguez or Derek Dixon off of just him being some regular dude walking down the street. You got to have a whole lot of shit with you, and that be the money and the perks and the power and all that other stuff. That makes anybody come across that ain't initially attractive. Okay, y'all. So now we down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have memberships. So if you want to sign up for a membership on the channel, you could definitely do that. But also, please and thank you, hit that like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm and pushing the show out there for more eyes to get on this messy ass show. So without further ado, let's get on our next topic. Let's talk about Will Smith. So there's a story floating around that Will Smith and Chris Rock, when did that whole incident happen? 2022. What year are we in? It's almost 4 years later. And now they sit up here talking about that Chris Rock and Will Smith want to sit down for a ABC News tell-all interview regarding the whole slap that was heard around the world. But my question is this: who hosting it? Oprah? I mean, who the moderator? Oprah? George Stephanopoulos, like who's doing it? And Diane Sawyer. And then it's 4 years later. Like the whole thing about Justin Timberlake that I said yesterday, with him trying to keep the body cam footage of him being a belligerent drunk sealed. You bringing more attention to this is making it more annoying. Like, why are we talking about this damn near 4 years later? Nobody cares about the slap. We done moved on from it. But according to a new report that I came across, and this was at Complex, they said this story is not true. So The rumors are swelling that Will Smith and Chris Rock are exploring the possibility of sitting down together for a conversation with ABC News. And they said the prospect of seeing them across from each other again has stirred immediate interest. But despite a viral tweet claiming otherwise, Chris Rock and will not be sitting down for a face-to-face interview with ABC News, an account taking advantage of the paid verification feature on Elon Musk's Twitter has duped some into believing that Rock and Smith, who famously clashed at the Oscars in 2022 over a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her ball ass head, would be putting aside their differences for an interview. The Twitter account Hoops Crave, which bills itself as a parody account not affiliated with Pop Crave, I thought it was Poop Crave. Don't they have another one? Shared an unsourced post on Monday, March 2nd that read, Will Smith and Chris Rock will sit down for a one-on-one interview with ABC News. The community notes quickly flooded in to debunk the story, with many flagging the post as fake news, saying the claim comes from a parody account, reads the community note. ABC News has not announced any such interview. And I will say this, unless you hear from ABC News, unless you, and funny enough, it was Hoops Crave and World Star Hip Hop that posted it. Now, if you take a shit from World Star Hip Hop and thinking it's factual, y'all need y'all head examined. That's like me thinking media fake out is legitimate news. But unless you hear from the major trades like the Varieties, the Deadlines, the Hollywood Reporters, the Entertainment Weeklies, unless you hear them from them places, don't believe the hype. So they said the post garnered over 27,000 likes, 4,100 reposts, and was viewed at least 3.3 million times. The unlikely interview, of course, is not happening, but it surely tricked a lot of people who didn't notice that the account was a parody of Pop Crave, a popular entertainment news aggregation account. The Hoops Crave account has routinely shared viral posts with outlandish claims, including one from last month that read, Jay-Z has reportedly left the U.S. to an undisclosed location. Y'all should know that that's a damn lie. I didn't even hear that one about Jay-Z. I'm like, wait a minute. Who actually believes that dumb shit? That Jay-Z done packed his bag, pack your bags up and leave. Jay-Z ain't going nowhere. He got all them kids. He got Beyonce. Where they going? I mean, don't trust to believe. They do got the coins to pack up and go wherever, but he not leaving. Word on the street is he about to celebrate the 30th anniversary, I believe, of Reasonable Doubt, and he might be allegedly doing a 2-week residency at Barclays because to celebrate that anniversary and maybe working on a new album. That's the rumor that's floating around. So Jay-Z ain't going no damn where. He got the Super Bowl halftime with Apple that he deals with every year. They're sitting there trying to plan who's going to show up Bad Bunny in 2027. So Sean Carter ain't going no damn where. So yeah, we ain't going nowhere. You can't believe all of that. So, following the Oscar slap incident, which came after Rock made a joke at the expense of Smith's wife, the two seemingly haven't spoken. When asked last year if he would ever consider hosting the Oscars again, Rock didn't rule it out, though, saying, you never know. This is what I would say. The most miserable people on earth are people that can't forgive. And not just people, you have to forgive yourself sometimes. So, hey, you never know. I live in forgiveness. True love starts at forgiveness. And then, of course, in Chris Rock's unfunny selective outrage special, he did, make jokes about the whole Will Smith slap and all the other stuff. And to be honest, we all was sitting there watching that Netflix special just because we wanted to hear what the joke was regarding it. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know. It seemed like the minute comedians go and do a special with Netflix, all the funny just goes out of their body. When I remember back in the day when we used to watch comedy specials on HBO. Remember that? When Chris Rock used to have, and all the big comedians used to go on HBO and do their specials, that's at the peak of comedy when shit was funny. I even think Bernie Mac did one over there on HBO. Oh my God, I miss Bernie Mac so much. He used to have me damn near pissing my pants with the type of jokes that he would tell. But it's like over the years, it's like I guess as you get older, you become less and less funny. And I remember when I lived in LA and I was going for a job interview, I actually ran into Chris Rock. And this was like in I think it was the Grove or whatever the case was, where I was going for a job or whatever. But anyway, and that's why I think they used to shoot extra or whatever. But anyway, so I was like, this would have been interesting to see, but I'm like, but who is this for? Because this is 4 years too late. And I just feel like at this point we done moved on. I don't know. I mean, Will Smith, I guess, is still trying to work on that comeback. Y'all saw the last Bad Boys; it did well. What other movies did he come out post the slap that I think did it resonate with people? Did people care? Um, if he does, he's supposed to be doing a sequel to I Am Legend. What's going on with that? Like, we haven't really heard much from Will Smith. I mean, he popped up in the finale. Didn't he pop up in the finale of Bel Air? So if he's interested in if this is true, I was like, okay, but yeah, like I said, if the major trades ain't talking about it, it ain't happening. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? You bummed that these two are not going to be able to sit down and have a conversation, or like I said before, who cares at this point? Like, we all moved on with our lives. We're not even thinking about the slap. For them two to have to be in a room together and talk, like, what would be the conversation? Why'd you hit me? Because you talked about my wife. Oh, it was a joke. I was being funny at the expense of my wife. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. So we're going to be going with that, and it's like nothing gets resolved. So to me, this would have just been a bad idea to begin with. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. If it's from World Star. Okay. He said, I just saw an old school clip of Chris Rock's Sling promo from the 1997 VMAs and singing the Men in Black theme Will's song, and I said, laugh at my jokes or there will be violence. Well, here's the thing. Chris Rock, I remember I used to love when he hosted the VMAs back in the day. That shit was funny. A time was had back in the day. Unless Chris gets a free slap, I ain't interested. Okay? That's what we came to see. We want to see a celebrity death match between Chris Rock and Will Smith. That's what we want to see. We want to see y'all get in the ring. And y'all can make, I was going to be funny and say, we can make Logan Paul the freaking referee. He said if they admit that it was a publicity stunt, that they were forced to do it, it would be way more intriguing. You can purchase Kill Bill. Oh, I already have it. As soon as it dropped, I bought it. It was like $20. So yeah, I told you, funny enough, I should have probably not went to the movies and just waited until it dropped digitally. I didn't know when it was going to come out. But yeah, the minute that it popped up on Prime Video, I bought it. I said it cost like $20, which is basically both Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 stitched together as one movie. Which I remember seeing that version years ago, and then they finally released it. A friend of mine had a bootleg copy. I don't know how he got it, but he managed to find a bootleg copy of it. Well, I should say ex-friend, because we don't talk no more. But anyway, let's move on. I done moved on from that foolishness. So we got another beef we got to get into. Let's talk about Jodie Sweetin, who basically went in on, everyone's favorite Tanner sister, Candace Cameron Bure. So, Jodie Sweetin is someone who, look, I've always said, in the world of Candace Cameron Bure's, be a Jodie Sweetin. Please don't be like Candace, because Candace she ain't that bright. Quiet as it's kept. So Jodie Sweetin has never been one to bite her tongue when it comes to sharing her perspective, even when it comes to her highly scrutinized relationship with former sitcom sister Candace Cameron Bure. During an appearance on The Only Child with Bob the Drag Queen podcast last month, host Bob the Drag Queen asked after Sweetin's current relationship with Bure and other Full House alum, including Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. While the Olsens have stayed out of the public eye in recent years, Sweetin and Bure's relationship have often made headlines thanks to the Great American Family channel star, frequently courting controversy with her anti-LGBTQ plus stances. And not only that, but this dumbass bitch had the unmitigated gall to say, if you watch horror movies, that it opens up this portal into your house, so you allowing evil spirits in. This is the crazy shit that people like her actually think. Her kids is all fucked up. She said Candace has gone a little bit Dave Chappelle too. This is what Bob said, to which Sweetin diplomatically responded that Bure does her thing, and we sit on very opposite sides of things, and I'm just kind of a loud, outspoken bitch about a lot of things, and that's not gonna stop me. And if it ain't you, that ain't you. Now, Bob quipped that if a movie were ever made about the many controversial actions of Donald Trump's second presidential administration, he basically cast her as Caroline Levitt, which actually would actually work. I could definitely see her playing Caroline Levitt. And they said those lips, Sweetin shot back, referring to the rampant online speculation about whether Levitt had gotten lip filler from a photo shoot with Vanity Fair published in December. Not only that, but did y'all notice the bump of still skins that was on her face too? And like it was looking a little herpetic. It's like your husband dick dirty. You got herpetic bumps around your mouth. Now, Sweden has long been an advocate for the Bidicua Plus rights, but despite their opposing views and perceived slights against one another, the Fuller House star has frequently made it clear that she has no ill will towards Bure. During an appearance on the Vault podcast in April, Sweden claimed that she and Bure have never gotten into it over their differing views, telling the host that although she and Bure have lived very different lifestyles, their relationship doesn't get contentious, saying we just exist in different worlds, but she is still someone I've known since I was 5 years old. It's like a family member. It's like family members. Maybe we don't talk all the time, and I know if politics comes up, it is not going to go well. But I don't hate you. I'm not gonna not hug you, but I'm also not gonna keep my mouth shut. So that's what I did. That's how I look at it. You don't want to follow or whatever. That's cool. I'll be nice, but I will not be quiet. And this is why I say, in a world of Candace Cameron Bure's, be a Jodie Sweetin, because I truly feel that way as well. That I feel like, you know what? I may not agree with you politically. And trust and believe, there's people that I know, family members, and people I work with at the Garden. You'd be surprised if you work in an entertainment spectrum how many people actually align themselves with Trump's ideologies and all that other shit. Probably because they live in Long Island in New Jersey and not in the city like the rest of us commoners. But my thing is, I'm not one like I have that utmost respect, and it was like if it comes to things and you say something that I don't agree with, we're gonna have that conversation, and I'm not gonna back down. I'm not gonna shut up. But if you come at me combatively and disrespectful and try to name call it and get personal, oh, then the gloves come off and I gotta cuss your ass out. But if you can come at a person in a respectful manner and it's like, yeah, we don't align with each other on a political standpoint or whatever your beliefs are, I'm not going to sit and turn a blind eye to you or like, okay, if we see each other, we come across each other, we come in each other's orbit. Hey, how you doing? Whatever the case is. But if a conversation comes up, you say something stupid, I'm gonna check you on it. And if we go back and forth, we go back and forth. But I'm not a backing down type person. So that's always been my personality. And 9 times out of 10, things go well in regards to that conversation. But if you're somebody that doesn't know how to articulate yourself in a manner where it's got to get personal and you want to all of a sudden call me names or say some crazy shit, then I'm going to have to just drag your ass down to the floor until there's no skin left on your damn body. So, I totally get where Jodie Sweetin's coming from this. And it's like Candace is who she is. She a nutbag like a damn brother. And they believe what they believe. And let her stay over there at that American Family Television, whatever the hell that channel's called, and her do what she's doing. There was one time I was on my TV because I have a Roku. And I remember one of the ads for her movies popped up. I'm like, why the fuck is this shit on my timeline? And it was her and Aaron Ashmore did a movie together on that channel. I'm like, damn, Aaron Ashmore, that's where you went with your career. I remember when you was he on Smallville? Now you're doing American Family Television, whatever the hell that shit's called, movies with Candace Cameron Bure. The mighty have fallen. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you checked out the Only Child with Bob the Drag Queen interview with Jodie Sweetin, where they had a conversation about a plethora of things, but they talked about her relationship with Candace and Candace's beliefs and stuff, that religious stuff. I was like, where did y'all learn this mess from? Probably from her damn parents. So let me know what you guys think, because you know how these crazy ass evangelical Christian nutbags are. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. The church girl showing more skin than the okay. But not the church girl showing more skin than the heretic in the red carpet photos. And it's funny because it's like y'all sit up here and talk all this mess, but you basically got a strapless outfit on. Because it's like, yeah, you're Miss Religion, but you're still in Hollywood, and you know what Hollywood breeds. But she think because she's on the Christian side of things that exempts her from them other conversations of the secular side of Hollywood. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this story. Let's talk about Scary Movie 6. So we had talked about Scary Movie 6 earlier, where they were going to be going up again, where they moved their time, their release date, and now they're going to be going up against Masters of the Universe. Gave my theories on. I definitely think that Scary Movie 6 is going to wipe the floor with Masters of the Universe, even though I like both franchises. So, of course, I'm sure you probably all saw the trailer right now. And one of the scenes in the trailer, I think it was like literally in the beginning, where they made a non-binary joke while they were doing the little subway scene. We saw Megan and Jason and all the other stuff up in there, and they were showing this girl that was holding up a sign. I think if you pause it right enough, you get to see she was holding up a sign that said something about Harry Potter. Which I'm word on the street is I'm hearing Paul Bettany is in talks to play Voldemort in the new Harry Potter TV series. That's the rumor that's floating around now. Before it was Cillian Murphy, now it's um Paul Bettany, who plays Vision in WandaVision and in the MCU movies. But anyway, so the whole they them thing, Pink News did a story on it, and here they would want to saying this. Pronouns are a sensitive subject. They shouldn't be, given how we use them daily, yet their mere mention triggers a deluge of remarks from both within and outside the Leviticua community. Well, they said all the acronyms, LGBTQIA+. Look no further than the swift backlash Scary Movie 6's trailer has received as evidence of that. At the center of the unrest is a simple, albeit unoriginal, pronoun joke. In the opening moments, we see a black character being stabbed by Scream villain Ghostface. Upon witnessing this, an onlooker cries, "He stabbed her," to which the wounded character responds, "Not her, my pronouns are they/them. He stabbed them." So now, the person wrote the article said, "I laughed. The absurdity of the moment, that bombastic, over-the-top way in which the Wayans poked fun at all was funny. Refreshing even. It takes an interaction that every non-binary person has had, granted not while being stabbed, and makes fun of the way in which we're forced to defend our pronouns. It's ridiculous, but that's precisely the point." Yet upon venturing to Reddit, I was shocked to see many reacting to in a wholly different way. Transphobic reactionary trash, a low-hanging fruit, concisely summarize how infuriated some individuals are. While I don't deny the joke is best past its sellout date, I believe our reaction to the joke is the bigger issue than the punchline itself. And first of all, y'all need to stand the fuck down, because number one, the Wayans, particularly Marlon Wayans, is an ally. He has a trans child. So when y'all going to sit up there and go on Reddit with your dumb discourses and your bullshit, "Oh, it's lazy. Oh, it's this." And this is exactly why we have assholes like fucking Gavin Newsom, who's going on podcasts and talking about, "We have to meet in the middle and we have to stop putting so much emphasis on pronouns and all of that other stuff, throwing trans people and non-binary people under the bus because he's trying to run for president and thinking that coming into the center is actually going to help him, when running center in politics, especially as a Democrat, that doesn't work anymore. We had a whole conversation earlier in between topics where we was talking about people want progressive. People want somebody who's actually going to come out here and fight for the American people. No longer are we doing this whole center moderate bullshit. So when y'all sit up in here thinking that you can make fun of everybody, but you can't make fun of the LGBTQ community, that's annoying. Everybody is, I'm all about equal opportunity offensive jokes, but you got to be clever about it. And yeah, it's low hanging fruit and it's absurd, but Scary Movie is an absurd franchise. All the jokes is low hanging fruit. Where the fuck have you been? But of course, it's got to be Gen goddamn Z with this bullshit. The same ones that was over there bitching about America's Next Top Model. These are the same ones that was probably on Reddit bitching over a they them joke. And I don't give a fuck if y'all don't like what I had to say. You can kiss my ass. Everybody's allowed to have their differences of opinion. But we can't sit up here and act like we the goddamn word police. This is why the Republicans have been able to go in and weaponize this shit to their advantage, because of y'all reaction in this way, the sensitivity of it all. Now, often it said it's in its bid to be quote unquote respectful, but much representation feeds into a particular narrative of the non-binary community, one that has a troubling past of depicting us as agonistic, ashamed, confused, and isolated. We're rarely shown as a normal part of society, as people who can laugh at ourselves just like everyone else. At a time where the film industry feels too nervous to champion queer stories, this inclusion in Scary Movie 6, while not an obvious act of advocacy, has given us a place in one of the biggest parody franchises. We're not included for tokenism. We're part of the comedy because every community is called out for its quirks and idiosyncrasies. Moreover, the joke feels like a commentary on how society views us rather than how we see ourselves. But let's suppose that it is poking fun at our pronouns. Is that a cruel portrayal? The Wayans brothers haven't said their joke with vitriol. Their tongue-in-cheek humor is designed for a quick laugh, a trait that they're renowned for and have built their reputation on. Moreover, the fact that Marlon Wayans has a trans son speaks volumes about how this joke is meant to be received. If the same joke had been told by Ricky Gervais, a man who has a whole timeline of controversial comments about the trans community, I'd be more concerned. Who's making the joke is important here. And that's why I said stand down, because Marlon Wayans is an ally. But y'all quick to go on the people that actually is for the community instead of the people that's against it. And that's often a thing that I be seeing happening way too much in this whole space. Now, Wayans is someone uninvolved with the queer community, but an individual closely associated with it through his ongoing support of his son. And yes, both comedians are cisgender nonetheless. Wayans has insight into gender identities that Gervais neither has nor cares to have. He has no intention of trying to educate himself, whereas Wayans has. Let's also not forget Dave Chappelle. Having moved from an initial place of denial, Wayans accepts his son for who he is. This isn't to say allies can't be ignorant. They can be, even if unintentionally so. Still, I highly doubt that Wayans' intention. Not only does the joke show an understanding of our community that only comes through actual engaging with it, but it also proves that the Wayans brothers accept everyone through the vehicle of comedy. And let's also not forget that Shawn Wayans is playing a gay man in the video and probably going to play up every stereotype under the sun. And what I'll be doing in the theater is laughing my ass off. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, how in the hell are you going to laugh at somebody else? Yes, I had to use a RuPaul quote. And it said, what else? I'm not alone in my opinion. Trans activist and author Dean Whitnell shared a post on their Instagram about being gagged to see a they/them joke. When I reached out to them to discuss the backlash in more depth, Dee had this to say. I love the inclusion of the they/them joke in the Scary Movie 6 trailer. And yes, it may be an old joke. It may also be lowball, but that's the beauty of the franchise and this joke. I would feel differently if Marlon Wayans wasn't a huge ally for the LGBTQIA plus community, but the fact that he is actually highlights how much he understands and cares for the community by including this joke. The Scary Movie franchise takes hits at every social group in a high camp and parody manner, and I'm grateful to be included. Yeah, because any other time y'all be out here quickly bitching and moaning. Oh, damn, why we don't be seeing this represented? We don't see that like when Heat of Rivalry came out, everybody wanted to be represented in that damn show. And I'm just sitting there like, with the success of that, it will open a Pandora's box for more shows like that to get made. And I'm sure that will happen. But it's like, damn if you do and damn if you don't in this situation. Now, having referred to themselves as equal opportunity offenders, and that's why I said that's the type of comedy I like. I'm an equal opportunity offender. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, the Wayans don't shy away from the fact that their comedy targets all, saying, consequently, I feel like it would be more concerning if they treated non-binary identities as off limits. We've become so accustomed to being excluded and or misrepresented, forever searching for basic respect, so we're naturally on the defensive to protect ourselves. Our once soft edges, not soft edges, chair, have been sharpened by society's treatment of us. In our quest for respect and tolerance, we've started to become steeped in a rigid seriousness that stands in the way of our joy, similar to how we handle mental illness. In a bid to be taken seriously, we're afraid to find comedy within these challenging moments. We chastise those who refer to themselves as crazy or insane, yet for some of us living with these struggles, dark humor is a salve that helps us heal. When I quip about rocking backwards and forwards in a corner because of my severe anxiety, in my way of accepting the reality of it's my way of accepting the reality of my disorder, which oftentimes is suffocatingly overwhelming. Now, Scary Movie 6's joke is doing similar for non-binary representation in film. It's normalizing our place there. In being included, we're accepted alongside everybody else. Like it or not, it's inclusive, though perhaps not in the way some had envisioned. When we take a step back from believing every element of comedy needs to be thought-provoking and challenging, we permit ourselves to engage with our lives through a more forgiving and joyful lens. If we continue to forget this, the recognition we strive for will come at the cost of losing our humor. But more alarmingly, will also stand in the way of our own progress. If we take ourselves too seriously, are we not part of the problem as well? Are we not at risk of feeding into the very unfair narrative we're trying to fight against? So I totally agree wholeheartedly with this entire article because I was feeling that way too. It's like we got to stop standing in the way of our own progress because oh, you can't say that about us. Oh, you can't make these jokes. Oh, then that's why people always come in like y'all too sensitive, and that's why when you have people within this current regime that have decided to weaponize pronouns, trans people in bathrooms, athlete, all of that stuff because it plays into the whole cancel culture angle because a lot of the queer community have complained about, well, you can't say that about us. Oh, you have to call me by this. Oh, you have to meet me where I'm at. Oh, you can't say that. So you're policing everything people say. And of course, when you have these comedians and all these other people that very much lean ignorant in the way of like a Dave Chappelle or a Ricky Gervais, they decided to switch that and weaponize it because they don't have the words to articulate what it really is. And it's like we shoot ourselves in the foot when we don't leave ourselves. Now, I'm not saying you got to accept any kind of disrespect because if you're going to come outside and say something ignorant and try to cloak it in a joke, then we could check them. But if it's like something harmless, it's like you didn't stab her, you stabbed them. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it's low hanging fruit, but it's funny. It's a quick laugh. We moved on to the next thing. But you making it seem like you can't say nothing because a lot of y'all running around here too goddamn sensitive. And that's going to hurt us in the end because then Hollywood takes that as, oh no, we can't say nothing about those people, so they're not going to get the representation. That's where they look at it because they don't know non-binary people. They don't know queer people. So but someone like a Marlon Wayans does because there's a relatability there based on his child. Now they said even though the adversity we overcome needs to be shared on the big screen, so too do our lighthearted experiences. All are equally deserving of a moment in the spotlight. We're allowed to enjoy comedy that pokes fun at us because we are funny. There's no harm in admitting that. Absolutely. Look, I know some gay people that are the funniest under the sun. Some people say I'm even funny with some of the stuff I say. But yeah, there's one thing that we gays are real good at is being funny and being humorous. And the fact that we run around taking ourselves too damn serious, it's like take the stick out your ass. So as I stated before, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I'm looking to see like how funny this movie is, and if there's anything that teeters on the okay, that was just you were doing too much and it's cringe. Then we'll have that conversation. We cross that bridge. But y'all sitting me here bitching and moaning over the whole they them thing in a line of a joke in a movie in a trailer actually because what we didn't see the movie is a commercial coming attraction. Then it's like, go outside and touch some goddamn grass. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the whole Scary Movie 6? They them joke where, of course, the queer community is getting their tits in a twist because apparently you can't say nothing without people getting all sensitive about stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Their jokes in the films were always commentary as a sign of the times. This is that, but what is that, a plus? This could be much better than you say SMS. If Gen Z turned off by what they called a stale franchise, don't go. You didn't go to Scream 7. You said they did y'all didn't go see Scream 7. Y'all was sitting there talking about Melissa and all of them, and look at you. 10 of y'all showed up to the protests, and the movie made a shit ton of money. because I think that a lot of my generation, particularly, we want a little edge. We want a little truth shit. We don't want none of that lollipops and rainbows crap that a lot of this new generation is fighting. I'm like, who raised y'all? But I just feel like a lot of these, it just goes to show that like the Gen Z, the Gen Alpha, I guess, a lot of y'all becoming more conservative than my generation. I mean, we came up with conservative parents, but for those of us, we were the ones out there being a little more edgy, like us millennials and some of the Gen X were running out there kind of going against our conservative parents. I know I was. And now it's like this younger generation is like becoming more conservative. They don't want to see sex and TV shows and all the other stuff, but y'all watch a heated rivalry. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our final topic. And let's talk about Rosalia. So Rosalia recently did an interview where she was asked what type of man does she want? Any man, an old man, a sexy man. Okay, that was me doing Jack A. Harry. But no, but she said she likes a homosexual man. Well, that explains her engagement and now breakup of with Raul Alejandro, because remember at one point them two was dating. So let's get into the tea. So Rosalia, who dated Euphoria star Hunter Schafer for several months in 2019, opened up about dating in a conversation with Argentine author Mariana Enriquez. The chat was part of a Spotify introducing Spotify A Presenta for Latin America, a dedicated space that celebrates the artistry, inspiration, and process behind the music. Now, in the interview filmed last year in Buenos Aires, "What's new, Buenos Aires?" Enrique asked the singer, "What is the quality you like most in men?" She responds that he's gay. The pair laughed with Enrique's added, "Well, that makes two of us." Expanding on what she likes in a woman, Rosalia says it's kind of funny that they separate the two because the first thing to mind is the quality that stands out the most or catches your attention of any person. When Rosalia asks Enriquez what she likes in a woman, she replies, "Sense of humor." Now, in a 2024 interview with GQ, Schaefer said that she still has a beautiful friendship with the Catalan singer-songwriter who has recorded with the likes of Billie Eilish and Bad Bunny, and she remains family no matter what. So I'm sure they was having a key over on the set of Euphoria when it was filming that final season. Now, in the interview with Elle magazine last year, Rosalia says she feels no pressure to put a label on her sexuality. She says, "I think of freedom. That's what guides me." And I'm sure that's what Pedro Pascal's feeling too, because I've been seeing like a lot of these people out here trying to out him. So we've been new. You ain't no shit. Because first of all, that man ain't determined what he's into. Because it's like, yeah, he's 50 years old. You ain't never seen him on a red carpet with a woman or a man. And you ain't never heard him come out and say what how he identifies sexually. So I like that idea. I like freedom. I date whoever I want. I hook up with whoever I want to hook up with. And to me, Rosalia definitely gives that type of vibe that she is someone who likes she's attracted to who she's attracted to. Which kind of got me when I'm like, because Raul Alejandro definitely got like feminine qualities, man. I'm not saying he gay, but she said she like a gay man. I met him in person when he did Kali Uchis show. I'm like, damn, that man is fine in person. When she brought him out as a surprise. And yeah, I like his swagger and his style or whatever the case was. It's sad to see that their relationship didn't last. But um I like Rosalia. I'm definitely looking forward to her Lux tour when it comes to the Garden. She's doing 2 nights there. I love the performance at the Brit Awards where she brought out Bjork. That performance was everything. Everything about that performance was crazy. I love the opera part. I like when did the part like my favorite part of the whole thing, and I know this might be crazy, but I love detail when it comes to live performances. You know the part where they all like part like the Red Sea when Bjork comes out. The way Rosalia drags that damn mic stand as they're walking away in slow mo, I'm like, bitch, that was everything. So I was just literally living for that moment, even though I was liking everything about the performance. And when they go crazy and everything, you see a little pink panty under the white dress, and that whole thing when they go crazy in the last part of the song. Like I'm just looking forward to seeing what she's gonna bring with this Lux tour, and I'm looking forward to working it when it comes to New York. So shout out to you, Rosalia, and the fact that she loves a homosexual man. So, and I'm sure there will be a lot of homosexuals at her upcoming tour. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Rosalia and the type of men that she likes when she talks about regarding dating? I am curious. I was gonna say what caused her and Raul to break up, but I know she does have a relationship song on the Lux album. But I do wonder if that's who she was referring to. I mean, who else was she dating at the time, right? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. The fact that sex in movies is gone, I'm like, mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to me, I always feel like sex should be in stuff if it fits in within the story you're trying to tell. I don't like gratuitous sex for gratuitous sake. Like, oh, I'm gonna just throw it in there. There needs to be a reason behind why you put in, like, it needs to fit within the story. Or maybe just to say, like, you know what, we just fucking it is what it is. So, but I just hate all this conservatism in entertainment and media. It's because we are the best compatible with straight women. We can relate to them better. Yeah, that's true. But I don't like those ones that like to use us as accessories, and then when we come out of pocket, according to them, y'all want to call us a bunch of sissies and punks. Because bitch, I'll cuss your ass out. So I don't like those type of straights. But to me, it's like, of course, because Rosalia is European, so a lot of the European people are open-minded. But anyway, all right, y'all. So we're hold on. Okay, as you said, there's no Gen Z raunchy teen comedies. We grew up with American Pie. And I still love American Pie. That movie's a classic. American Pie, Super Bad. Wait, what was the other movie? Fuck. What was the name of the movie with Bradley Cooper? And they came out like three of them. Anyway, it escapes me, but yeah, I like the first one. I like the other two. So there's been a lot of movies and a lot of great comedies that have come out over the years. They don't make them like they used to. Weekend at Bernie's was funny too. The Hangover, thank you. Was that. But anyway, y'all. So all right, so we're done with today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please hit that like button, smash the notification bell, hit that subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps out with the algorithm. Um, I'll see if I'll possibly come on Friday. Tomorrow I got a gig, so I won't be on. But yeah, I'm trying to squeeze in as much shows as I can before the biggies, because once the biggies hits, bitch, y'all ain't gonna see me for a while. It might be a week because it's literally 4 days straight of double headers, triple headers in basketball. So and it's college basketball. Y'all know the Big East if you're a sports fan. So I'm gonna be busy with that. Plus Gaga, Cardi B, FKA Twigs, a lot of shows happening this month. So I'm gonna try to squeeze in as much shows as I possibly can. In the meantime, but yeah. So I love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.